Oh, my screen was glitching quite a bit, so I hope we're here. It's me. I'm Brandon C. McClure. Welcome to the Fake Nerd Podcast. Early edition.
Guys, I don't know if you looked out the window, but there's this giant orb in the sky that's really, really bright. Why is that there?
Out. The sun is out, people.
Sun's
Good morning.
Sun's out.
Good morning to Mag.
Vietnam.
I hope you're watching this. I hope you're watching this so early.
He's asleep.
Yes, we're doing this early in the morning. And so welcome to episode 242 of the Fake Nerd Podcast, where we're reviewing Cruella, the new Disney original movie. I'm Brandon C. McClure. As the set up top with me, as always, is Ben Magnet.
I woke up. Yay!
Sparks Witty.
I'm definitely waiting for my stream to balance.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And Ryan Eliopoulos.
It's me. We're here. I have a monster. Let's talk about the news.
I got a sparkling kiwi guava energy drink. I don't know. It's a health thing, but it's actually not bad.
Water. I got water.
You drank a coffee before this.
Me? I don't drink coffee. That was hot chocolate.
That's true. He does not drink coffee.
Oh. That's why you're so tired all the time. Maybe you should drink coffee.
That was hot chocolate. I drink hot chocolate. I get hot chocolate from coffee shops, so I look like I'm drinking coffee.
Oh.
I can confirm. When Brandon and I lived together at college, there were times where I would get a coffee, but he would always get a hot chocolate. And I'm just like, you don't like coffee? He's like, no, I don't like coffee. I'm like, okay.
But I like the appearance that I drink coffee.
You do. Yes, you like the appearance.
Yes, so before we get started into our weeks, I guess I should take it away and talk about what links are down below in the description. Ryan, you do not have it downright annoyed because it is too early to have recorded one.
It's the future. It hasn't happened yet.
But you do have a link down there for Kaiju Weekly.
Yes! I did that. I talked to Travis. Michael wasn't there. I think his name's Michael, the co-host, but he wasn't there. But yeah, we talked about Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's a show I really like, and maybe he didn't like as much. Great conversation. It was a great chat.
I listened to that.
Do you want a medal?
No, I just want to see Ryan.
Well, thank you, Ben. I maybe listen to your episode.
I listened to it too.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. I have to say, it was a really good conversation between Travis and Ryan about Evangelion. And as I was listening, I was like, man, Evangelion is a really good show. But also, man, that show is really freaking sad.
It has its moments. Yes,
it does have its moments.
So Ryan, Evangelion, I listened to that too. There, we all get medals now.
I love medals.
But there are other things as well, such as my second part with my conversation with Sparks Witty, the gentleman right down below me. He this time flipped the script. This is part 2 where he flipped the script and he turned the questions back on me. And I got real, guys. I got real.
Oh, you did. You did. I listened to that too. Well,
you know what? I'm gonna get a ding. I'm gonna get a ding for every single time you say that. I'm just gonna make a graphic. Bing.
Hey, I like supporting my friends, okay?
Guess what? I listened to parts 1 and 2 at work. Whoa!
Oh my god! Yeah. So Sparks did talk to me about some of the things I have gone through in fandom. But really, it should be called Conversation with Brandon C. McClure, but it's not. It's part 2 of Sparks Witty. So check that out. That's down below. Both parts are available now. Next week, I am talking to Robert L. Kelly from Record All Monsters.
Nice. Oh, and Brandon, just a little thing. I would love to be on the episode about sports fandom with you.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. I recently did an interview with Andy Palastides. I really hope I pronounced that right. And he is part of the NASCAR fandom. He does a podcast with NASCAR. And so we talked about it. That's coming up soon. And so we talked about it. I also interviewed Scott Calora from IGN, which was awesome.
Nice.
But we talked about just kind of sports fandom and things like that. And I'm like, I'd really like to get into like an in-depth conversation about sports fandom. So yeah, sure. That'd be really fun.
Ben doesn't know anything about that though.
You're right, Ben. You should be on the Stephen King episode.
I was gonna say, yeah. This is a horror fandom podcast we're talking about.
I'll do the sports one.
Thank you. I know you're a big football fan.
He loves soccer.
Oh, he froze.
Oh yeah, Sparks froze.
Damn it. All right. Anyway,
Oh, cool.
let me. You're back now. All right. He was doing fine before we started the stream.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have. Let me see if I can remember. Guys, we're not talking about A Quiet Place today. We're talking about Cruella. But if you want to listen to us talk about A Quiet Place, we actually did it a year ago. That's
reviewed
linked
it
below.
We did it.
That's linked below. You can find out all of our spoiler review of A Quiet Place from a year ago, guys. And you know what? It's not that different.
That's awesome
And the
to
link
hear.
below.
I'm so excited.
I need to re-listen to that because I totally forgot what I said about it.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, when the virus first started, we said this will only last a month. Let's just talk about the movies that were supposed to come out that month.
One eternity later.
Naive young
I
children.
can't wait. I will re-listen to those reviews once seeing the movies. That's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, but that is linked below. I figured that would be a fun blast from the past to see how we were starting this whole thing that we've been doing for far too long.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, your latest article is in the description below.
Yes,
Hot dog.
my latest old school gamer magazine article is down there. It's all about me falling into the rabbit hole about buying stuff off of eBay, which I have some of my buys, and I'll show them to you all once we start talking about our weeks.
I love his show and tell, and that's it. That's all the links below. Except you can check out our Patreon, guys. It is, according to my calendar, May 30th, which means starting Tuesday, you have 1 month. Read it, 1 month to get our Stephen King is My Best Friend t-shirt, designed by Mike Patola, inspired by Stephen King's best friend, right here, Ben Magnet.
It's it.
Check that out. Subscribe to the $10 tier. You only have 1 more month, and then the shirt is gone forever.
There's no way in existence that it could ever come back.
No,
It's
an NFT, man. It's an NFT. I just like destroy it.
All right. Gone. Yep. Sparks is gone. I'm out. See ya. That's the end of the Fake Nerd podcast. I still eat it.
Sparks, come back. Maybe come back. As we figure out what Sparks is doing with his microphone, I don't think this is a bit.
I don't think it's a bit either.
We'll get into our weeks, but that's all I have to talk about as far as links goes. I've been talking a lot. Someone else go.
Ben, you go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. So, like I said, I got some of my eBay buys. So, as you guys know, last week I've fallen into a rabbit hole of buying stuff off of eBay. I've been trying to find some certain games. Good news is I found them. I won auctions, and I'm about to show them off to you right now. So the first game I have is a new Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo DS that came out back in 2000.
I have that game.
Yeah, so I got lucky. I got this game for about $15, and it's complete in the box. And it's the thing about eBay, or even if you go to like regular retro video game like expos or even Frankenstein's, is that you have to be aware of fakes. Mm-hmm. Because there are times where some people will sell reproductions and fake carts. Now, there are some people, because I actually have seen this on eBay, that'll straight up tell you, like, hey, this is a reproduction, this isn't a real cart, but the game still works, so I'll still sell it to you at a very, very cheap price. So, like, maybe like 5, 10, depending on what the game is.
Yeah, the game still works. Whatever.
Yeah, the game still works, but I'm really picky because I like my stuff real, and there's a way to tell how a DS game is real. And I'm just going to do a quick little thing. So you have the DS game, the little card right here. But if you look on the back above the gold pins, you see those white letters? Mm-hmm. That's a good telltale sign of how to tell whether a game is legitimate or not.
Ooh.
So if you find those white letters above the gold pins, you can see that those are real. And especially if you're looking to buy stuff off of eBay, if the seller has pictures of the game card, and it has the game card backwards, so you can see, so you can like zoom in and see it. Then it's like, hey, cool, this is probably a legitimate game. If you feel comfortable, you can buy it. So I got this for about like $15, which makes me happy because I saw this at Frankenstein's when I went with you guys last week. CIB, a guy was selling this for $50, and just the game card, a guy was selling it for $45. So I got this pretty much for a steal.
Yeah, nice. Going to Frankenstein's, the prices vary wildly depending where you go, and it doesn't really seem like there's like a real like this is the value. It's just like, what do I think it's worth? Because what will somebody actually pay for this? That's why I might just go to eBay for a lot of things that are at Frankenstein's if I really wanted it.
I mean, there are times. I mean, also like so my Nintendo playing cards that I got because these were a Club Nintendo exclusive that came out a few years ago. The guy I bought these from, he was originally selling this for 40. He gave them to me for 30 because he's a friend of mine. So of course, if you know some people, if you're friends with people, they'll give you better deals. But as much as I was happy to have new Super Mario Bros. Since I've been on a Mario kick ever since I got Super Mario 3D World, that wasn't my prize. That wasn't like the main one I've been hunting. I've been trying to find. This one is, in my opinion, one of my crown jewels in my DS collection. Chrono Trigger.
Wow. I was gonna guess Chrono Trigger.
I got Chrono Trigger. I finally got this damn game. I can already play this on my PS1, but everyone's been telling me that the DS version is the way to go, and it's real. And this is the print. Excuse me. This is the print with the poster, and I only got this for like $70. Do you know how much this goes for normally?
10 million.
Lost Levels had a copy of Chrono Trigger a few weeks ago, right? They were selling it for $130.
Yeah.
Damn.
I got this for $70.
That's almost half.
I'm like, yeah. Yeah, and it's best part, 100% legit. The only thing is like the box art is a little beat up, but luckily that's just the case. The game's legit. The game's real. All the inserts are in here. Poster's nice. I don't know if I'm going to put the poster up, but I am so happy I got this because this is
awesome, dude.
Have you played it before?
I have never played this before. I want to get this because it's one of the most premier RPGs of the SNES era, and also, Brandon, Akira Toriyama designed the characters.
Yep,
cool.
That game is incredible. It's a time travel story. That's a game that people are like, hey, stop making more Final Fantasies. Make another Chrono Trigger. or at least just re-release Chrono Trigger, because a lot of people have been wanting to play Chrono Trigger, because every person who's played Chrono Trigger has said it's one of the best video games ever made. It is.
I'm pretty sure it's one of the best RPGs ever made.
It is.
And when the SNES Mini came out, a lot of fans were mad. It's like, hey, we're happy Secret of Mana's on there. Why isn't Chrono Trigger on here? Because that game is expensive and it's hard to get.
That's probably why.
Yeah, so I got those in this week. I'm super happy. I'm super excited. My DS is charging right now because I was playing a little bit of Metroid last night, and I cannot wait to dive into Chrono Trigger. It's gonna be awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So besides those, I finished Castlevania.
Blah.
Oh, the show.
Yeah, I finished the show Castlevania. Who else has finished the show?
I haven't started it.
Who has not started the show?
Okay. No spoilers then. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I do have a few minor critiques here and there, but as a whole, if I look at season 4 and the story as a whole, I highly enjoyed it. I don't think I like how there's a nice little bow on it, where is if they did decide to go with season 5, there is an option for them to go. There is a story route that they can take, but at the same time, I don't feel like they have to.
Well, good thing the show's ending then.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
I really oh dang it, there goes Sparks again. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I had a blast. I highly recommend you guys go watch it. And one of the marks for me when I'm watching a thing that's a good video game adaptation is if after I'm done watching it, I want to go play the game. I kind of really want to play Castlevania now. I'm interested because I've never played any of the Castlevania games. It
only took you 4 years to get here, Ben. Where was this when season 1 happened, baby? Come on, man. Come on, man.
I did. 4 years ago, I did have my NES Mini with Castlevania on it.
No, but you have like 7 other consoles that have every Castlevania game on it because I bought all of them on sale on the PlayStation Store.
Oh, damn. But yeah, Castlevania, the anime on Netflix, really good. Highly.
I've heard really good things about the ending. I've heard ends top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Castlevania is really good. Besides that, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I've just been taking way too many pictures of my cat. She's
Ben,
right now chilling.
Yeah, not bad.
Ben,
what?
Not enough pictures of your cat.
It's not bad.
I like how you're thinking, Brandon. I like the way you think. But
also, I really like how you showed your cat your comics, and you were like, I don't know what War of the Bounty Hunters are. Ben, we talked about War of the Bounty Hunters when it was announced.
It's about bounty hunters, and they're at war.
They're going for Han Solo's carbonite body. That's the whole event. That's the event.
You're right. You're
There
right.
you go.
I remember that now. Well, to be honest, I'm like 3 months behind on my comics.
That's fair. You're also 3 months behind on this show. You're back in time, Ben.
How did I get here?
Like Chrono Trigger.
Anyway, I apologize. Go finish your.
It's fine. But yeah, so I took a bunch of pictures of Suki. I got my comic books yesterday, which made me happy.
Yeah,
and
cute. Yeah, I saw that stack. Real cute.
Yeah. So yeah, and here we are. That's my. Also, I got this rad completionist T-shirt.
Nice.
Woohoo! So
Love it.
Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to playing some video games and reading a bunch of comic books once we're done recording today.
Same.
Ryan?
I will go. First of all, I don't know who it is, but it sounds like someone's been peeing this entire podcast. There's running water in the background. It's very, 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 very clear. Whoever it is, just saying.
No, that's
You guys figured out I've been peeing this whole time?
I just don't know how it's been going for 15 minutes.
Boy, let me tell you, I got some bladder problems.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Ben. Just whatever it is, it's very clearly on the audio.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk about my week quickly because I didn't do much. I spent most of it playing Avengers. Marvel's : The Avengers on the PlayStation 5. There's the Red Room takeover stuff. You just do a bunch of like it's the training missions, but they've been taken over by Yelena Belova. I think that's her name. I forget her name. She's not actually in the game. It's just like, here's some text on why you're doing this thing. And then I do that for like a couple hours. It's like, cool, you did the thing. And I'm like, well, I don't know why I did this. It's fun. I'm just waiting for like real shit in that game, you guys. Like, I'm waiting for that. Bye, Sparks. I'm waiting for that Wakanda stuff. That's coming soon. That game's still really fun to play, and I keep coming back to it because I just really enjoy playing it. Especially, again, that PS5 controller, you guys. Like, it just makes playing games so much more fun because everything vibrates like in a different way. Like, everybody steps differently, everybody shoots differently. They all feel different. It's just a nice little technical thing I never would have thought of. Besides that, I've watched a lot more Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay. You guys, as someone who works in a restaurant and has worked in restaurants for a long time, it makes me appreciate sometimes that, hey, my restaurant ain't as bad as it could be. Because some of these places...
Did you see the episode with Lafrite?
Oh, yeah, the place. Yes, that's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I used to work next to a place that was on Kitchen Nightmares. I'm like, who would have known? Who would have known?
Or the comics, like the side of the building right there.
Yeah. That is fun, yeah. Gordon Ramsay's a fun guy. That guy actually knows how to cook. You know, he's a chef for 40 years or whatever. Besides that, I watched some movies for this podcast and some other podcasts, and I read some comics for this podcast. I'm gonna go to the comic store today after this. Guys, I have literally over a month's worth of comics in that pool, so I am so glad I got tip money ready because I'm about to spend it all. I want to get back into X-Men. I haven't read X-Men comics in a while, except the main X-Men book. I had to read those, so I'm caught up, except for the newest issue. Besides that, but yeah, it's just been a work week. I worked a lot this week. I played some Fortnite. Sparks went out of town, so I didn't do much stuff with him. That's me. Sparks, take it away.
Yeah, since Sparks is still MIA, figuring out his camera issues. Hopefully he can fix those soon. I'll go with my week.
Yeah.
I picked up my comics. I didn't read any comics this week because what happened was I came home from my long extended vacation. As you can see, for you visual people, I am back in my office, back in Los Angeles, no longer in Monterey. My father is doing well, so that's good. But I was gone for a month, which means a month worth of comics ended up being on my pull list.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got a special guest.
Yay!
Special guest Sparks Whitty is here. Sparks, say something.
I think I figured it out.
Okay,
You look great, sound great.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
You do look good. This is a good camera for you.
This is my mom's computer because I had to switch because nothing else was. I moved and it didn't fix anything.
Sparks, I was about to go with my week, but I will give you the courtesy of asking you if you want to go.
Oh no, please.
Okay.
I heard most of what you guys said. I missed a chunk of Ryan's week. I'm sorry.
I didn't do anything, so it's fine.
I did hear Ryan accusing someone of peeing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Ben, I have been peeing the entire time since we started.
Well known fact.
Anyway, so yes, I picked up a month's worth of comics when I finally came back into town, and here's the thing. I talked about a lot of comics when I was away because I didn't have a lot of time, so I read a lot. So my pull list my stack of comics went from like this. For the audio listeners, I'm sorry, you're not going to get this. It went from like this. Now for the audio, shorter stack. For your listeners, like this. Then it came back. And it went from this to this.
Small to big. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. It's a good problem to have.
Yes, it is a good hobby, but I'm not getting I'm not making any money right now. I'm only spending money. So there's the problem there.
Yeah.
But I am I'm lucky to shop where I do, and I'm really excited to dig into those comics. I got Heroes Reborn, which apparently is good.
Yeah, my Twitter friend was like halfway through it gets really cool and good. I'm like, God dang it, I don't need more books to read.
How did he pull that out of his ass?
Apparently he just made it a Flash comic and it gets really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to get that. Got to catch up on X-Men. Looking forward to catching up on that. I haven't read all of this month, which was leading up to Hellfire Gala, so I got to hurry so I can join the Hellfire Gala this week.
Exactly, because that's why I'm picking them up. Because next week it starts. I'm like, oh, I can't miss it. No.
Hey guys, Hellfire Gala's coming out. Excited.
And that's coming up so fast.
Yeah.
Look and fly.
All right, and
I
watched
a bunch of books in here to read. Holy crap!
Yeah, Ben, we're going to do an episode on the Hellfire Gala, so you got to read those comics this week, Ben. It's a surprise. It's a surprise event this week.
I can read it. And by the way, the water is from my roommate's fish tank, and I don't know how to turn it off. So sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'll just keep muting it.
Mystery solved.
Like it was anything else. I watched Pacific Rim, which, believe it or not, I'm not going to talk about because I got something coming out this coming week that I will talk about.
Oh.
I'll wait to that. Hey, movie rules. I like the movie. I like the movie a lot, guys. I finally saw the 9th entry in the Saw franchise, Spiral. As you know, I have seen all the Saw films leading up to... Is Ryan? Ryan?
Oh no, did he freeze?
Ryan's gone.
Oh no.
That's what happens when we do
Ryan.
early mornings.
Ryan just texted, Emma!
That'll happen a lot.
So Ryan is having camera difficulties as well. Oh
wow.
man.
Are all of us having some sort of problems today?
It's gonna happen to you and me, Ben.
Like mine is internet struggles because Pebble Beach is terrible with that, and I don't know why. We were crisp and clear before we started streaming, and then all of a sudden I was having issues, and usually going into the kitchen fixes it, but it didn't, so I had to switch devices. But Ryan is just cats.
Yeah, there he goes. He'll come back soon. Ryan will be back soon. Okay, so
Spiral?
Just his back. Emma. All right, but I watched Spiral. I saw all the Saw films last year. I really enjoyed the franchise. I had a good time getting through them, except Jigsaw's a piece of garbage. And then so finally get to see Spiral, which is Saw's attempt to do what Halloween did, which is successfully make the jump to schlock horror to prestige horror. As you all know, prestige horror is the big box horror, The Conjurings, the new Halloween. Most of what A24 does is prestige horror. Ryan's back.
Hey guys, thanks to my cat.
That was funny.
I really, really, really want to hear your thoughts on Spiral. I'm sorry I missed it.
It's okay. I just started actually.
Okay, good.
So as Halloween was very successful making the jump from schlock horror to prestige horror. That movie rules. Spiral is not so much. Spiral is not a Saw movie. It is a police procedural that they decided to throw Saw into it. It reminds me a lot of Transformers: The Last Night, which is not damning praise. It is the only one that I can think of, which is someone had a King Arthur movie about someone being King Arthur's descendant, and they decided to throw in Transformers.
Gotcha.
That's what happened with Spiral. It feels like Spiral is a police procedural that they're like, let's add some Jigsaw traps.
I've heard nothing but bad things from the people that so like that really bums me out. I was hoping that maybe fans would find some appreciation, but guess not.
Yeah, I think Chris Rock is good, and Emma's doing it again.
Don't worry about me. I'm just hoarding off a cat.
Sparks, I don't know why Sparks is muted, but Ben, you don't have to mute. I don't care about the audio dripping. You're just going to be muted the whole episode.
Other people do, so I'm just gonna.
Well, you could talk, Ben. I'm just letting you know it.
Because I had to move out here, my fiance and friends are watching Knives Out in the green room behind me. I just don't want any audio to carry over when I don't need it to.
Oh, we haven't heard anything. It's pretty good.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, so Spiral. Chris Rock is really good in Spiral, which is nice to see him do this type of role. I think he fits into the role really well. You see the twist coming a mile away, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you can, if the audience, the movie Saw is normally pretty good at gauging whether or not the audience is going to catch the twist early on. If they do, they add a second twist that you don't see, and that works really well because both times you get to hear the Hello Zepp song, and the Hello Zepp song rules.
Is that the
Yes, that's the main theme for Saw. Yeah,
it is good.
Whenever they do a twist, it's that song, and I got to reiterate, every single movie where they have done the twist, they have used that song.
I have heard this complaint about Spiral.
Spiral does not. I was furious.
What's the point?
I have isn't part of the point of that it's not supposed to be a Saw movie, but it is a Saw movie, but it's not supposed to be.
But it is a Saw movie. It's directed by the guy who directed most of the Saw movies.
It just feels like they were trying to rebrand and branch out to something new, and then they obviously didn't. But that's supposed to be what the point was, but it didn't work. I love that he's envisioned I'm sure you saw, Brandon, but did you guys see where he talked about I think that this could be the Marvel universe, so now we'll have another Saw movie, and then we'll have Spiral 2, and then another Saw film, and Spiral 3, and then it'll come together.
You know what? Maybe the MCU is a mistake.
Sometimes I think that.
just everything else. Everything that everybody's always learned the wrong lesson from it.
100%, yeah.
I feel like every time some new director of some franchise that already has been established comes up and this could be like the MCU. It's dude, no.
Did anybody see? Did anybody see the Army of the Dead pitch meeting? Where he's did you say cinematic universe? I did, sir. That's the magic words.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how I feel that.
Oh no.
Weird.
Yeah, and so it's they're doing the twist, and I'm this is cool, but it's not playing. And I'm man, I would be so pumped if this was the case. And there's no second twist, so I'm well, I knew this was happening. I knew this was what was happening.
So I don't plan to see this movie anytime soon, and I don't want to spoil it for the audience, but is there anything cool that's from Saw that's in the movie? Any cool cameos, anything that's oh, I'm a Saw fan, this works for me? Anything like that?
I do think the traps are well envisioned.
Okay.
But
that's what I go there. That's half what I go there for, is for the cool traps.
I wish there was more of them.
In a similar vein to Ryan's question, do you need to have seen the Saw films to see Spiral like we were discussing? No. Okay.
No.
You think that someone could get value out of it without the Saw films?
Is it just a bad movie still though?
I don't think people would like it more. But I do think that there is value to people who haven't seen Saw. Kind of this is a fresh if you know you've heard about Saw, you know kind of the iconography, you're good.
This is the new number one. Hey, look, it's the relaunch of Saw. Spiral.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good example, and I don't mind that. But the voice sucks. And this is kind of a small nitpick. Actually, it's not, because John Kramer, Jigsaw, the Hello Detective is great.
He's the best part of those movies, and that's why they kept him around 9 movies after he died.
I know. And then you have this person is Hello Detective, and I'm not scared. You want me to rip off my fingers? No, go to a gym.
It's like switching from Robert Englund to
Jackie Earl Haley.
Yes.
And you're this is okay.
He's just doing his Rorschach in a way. It's it's not.
Yeah. Spiral. I think Spiral is the worst of the Saw films, but I don't think it's a terrible movie. So I think quality wise, it's probably pretty high up there with the first Saw movie, but as far as like Sawness goes, it drops way down.
Gotcha. Okay.
What'd you say, Sparks? Your muse?
That's so weird to think about,
isn't it?
I get what you mean though. Like
yeah.
If you're a big fan of the franchise and there's like no Saw in the movie, then like why is it even a Saw movie?
Yes.
Which has always been like, again, like that last trailer is what really put me off about the movie, because the first trailer I was like, oh, this is cool. This is going to be like a Chris Rock drama thing with murder, but it's in the Saw world, but it's not necessarily about Saw. And then they're like, no, it's just about Saw. And I'm like, oh,
maybe not.
Now I do think there was. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't necessarily think there isn't a way to make Saw prestige horror, but Saw is very much a schlock horror franchise, and it's been that way for 9 movies and 8 movies. And if you don't decide to do what Halloween did, which is wipe away the continuity, it's very difficult to make that jump.
Truly, the closest that Saw I think could get to prestige horror was the first one, when it's new, and they did it. And honestly, like I could embrace an argument that the first one is prestige horror for its time period. I would embrace that. I think that there's a lot of good to that script.
Yeah.
But that the sun has set. Like you can't do it brand new again.
Honestly, this is gonna be funny, but like you need someone like a Lee Winnell to like redo it. And like he was in that first Saw movie like 20 years ago.
He wrote it.
There you go. Like bring him back, and like no offense to the guy who made Spiral or any of the past Saw movies, but they are a certain type of movie. If you want to elevate it, get new creative teams behind it. Get a new director. Like bring Lee Winnell, who did The Invisible Man. Like turn it into what you want it to be, not just another version of it.
Yeah, and I think Halloween was so successful because it was able to easily shed its schlock horror past and move into that era. And I don't think Saw did. Now, you want to know the direction I feel like it should have gone?
Aliens.
The other way completely. Do what Jason X did.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's like 2050 and they're like futuristic weapons.
It's 2050 and they managed to put John Kramer's brain inside an AI. It's gone rogue and is making traps. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Dude, if Saw would have came out 10 years earlier, that would have been the trajectory. But it didn't. It came out in the 2000s, unfortunately.
I want the shit out of an evil AI John Kramer killing people.
I agree. I think that's a great idea.
I don't think that'll ever happen, but like an anime of that, I could see they could like all the anime in space.
What is John Kramer's like mind put into an AI besides the best Ghost in the Shell villain you could have? Like,
oh my god, just combine the universes.
And you know what? You keep the voice too, because like, we found a way to create his voice.
Yeah, I'm picturing his voice coming out of a touch coma.
Yes,
Ghost in the Shell, the little like bots.
I'd watch the shit out of that movie. If they wanted to just go the other way, do it.
I want that.
Anyway, but that's never going to happen. I watched Young Rock. Finished Young Rock. It is 11 episodes for its first season. Dwayne Johnson is in that movie, in that show, a lot more than I thought he would be. And we don't know if he won the presidency, guys. We have to wait for season 2.
That's cool that he cares. I'm glad he took such a personal shine to it.
One of the kids who plays his younger self is going to be in Black Adam.
Yes, the teenager, right?
Yeah,
is going to be in Black Adam. Yes.
I was very surprised by the show. I think it's kind of started off a little rocky. Oh boy.
He said it. He said it. Drop the confetti. Drop the balloons. He did it.
Oh man. I heard it coming. I was like, oh man.
That's so good.
Man, I smelled what you were cooking. It's cool.
All right. This is what happens early mornings. It's not that early. It's almost noon.
It's almost noon. Normally half of us would be waking up right about now.
We normally record like in 12 hours, so I'll give us a pass today.
Anyway, so I think it just started off a little rough. But by episode 5, it really finds its groove and packs some emotional beats that I didn't think they would. And kind of it feels like Dwayne Johnson like slowly sheds the gimmick of his persona as the show goes on.
So you would say it erodes.
I'm really avoiding these words. I'd had a similar problem on Kaiju Weekly, by the way. I heard something coming out. I was like, don't say it. And I said it. I was like, man.
Theology puns.
Anyway, so And by the end of it, like there's an emotional gut punch that I didn't see coming that like literally like punched me in the gut and I started crying. I was like, damn, okay, all right, didn't see that coming.
Young.
I surprisingly liked it. I recommend it if you want a fun, breezy 11 episode sitcom. Personally, I think you could do worse.
Love it.
11 episodes is surprising and unusual.
Are they an hour long?
They're half hour.
Oh, that is okay. That's weird.
I'll probably watch that. I'd like to.
That seems like a quick binge. Yeah.
And I think all of the characters are very well cast. It's surprisingly, all the wrestlers that they bring in look exactly like who they're supposed to be. They'll show like pictures side by side. They'll be like, this is the real person's picture, and then this is the actor. I'm like, that's the same person.
I'm definitely part of the Dwayne Johnson fandom, so I'll check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk about him a little later too. And then I finished Mighty Ducks. Game Changers. Ben, guess what?
What?
I sent Ben a text.
Yeah, you did. You did. Okay. Yeah, you.
I'm not gonna say how it ends, but I will say there may or may not be a deal about whether or not someone keeps the Mighty Ducks name.
Are you telling me the game has changed?
The game has changed, Ryan.
The game is on.
Yeah, funny enough, Brandon, when you sent me that that screenshot, I was right in the middle of watching Cruella. And then I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then it wasn't until later I was like, oh, that's what he means. I'm like, well, shit. All right.
Ben,
I mean, you knew it was coming, Ben.
Yeah,
you knew it was coming.
I
mean, you didn't because you made a complaint about it, but then you knew.
They heard you. They heard it. They listened.
I got the episode. You should watch that show. I do think you'd like it. There's one episode where a bunch of the original cast come back. That's really sweet. I thought that was really well handled. The show is great, and I will die on the hill of it being the best thing that the Mighty Ducks franchise has put out. And I'm counting the animated show, which we all know is great. Also,
Aliens. Yeah,
alien ducks.
Right. Alien ducks who land in Anaheim, take over the pond, and actually become the NHL team. I'm not making this shit up.
That's
a real cartoon.
That sounds 100% better than any Mighty Ducks movie that I'll ever watch. Like, I'm never like sports teams and like love and family, all that, whatever. Give me alien ducks like now. Come on.
No, alien ducks who live on a planet they're obsessed with hockey.
Shaped like a hockey puck.
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
Where's that Space Jam?
They're shaped like hockey pucks. Then they go to Earth and they land in Anaheim and they become the actual Mighty Ducks. And the main villain is voiced by Tim Curry.
See, this should be a live action movie. What are we doing? What are we doing?
That sounds incredible.
That sounds awesome.
Right?
It does have a bit of a banger of a theme song. I will not lie, because that's one of my favorite parts when I remember watching the show back in the day.
It's a very thin in it.
No, it's a very thin Gargoyles ripoff. But I do really like it.
That should be the next crossover: the Gargoyles versus the Ducks.
The Ducks, yeah, do it. Yes, do it.
I remember there's this one episode where the leader of the team is Wild Wing, which is the name of.
He has a magic. He has a magic duck bill that he puts over his duck bill to become super powered.
It's a mask that because he's the goaltender of the team, and also when he's goaltending, it turns into like a white goaltending mask that reminiscent of the old hockey mask that Jason wears.
Guys, this was really cool. This is cool. I don't care about hockey. This looks awesome.
This is on Disney Plus. Do it.
It is on Disney Plus. It is on Disney Plus, and I just love the fact that. Okay, quick sports history lesson. So when the Ducks land in Anaheim in the show.
Oh, fake history lesson.
This is a history?
Fake history lesson.
It takes stuff from the real world and blends it into the show. So in the show, when the Ducks land, there's a billboard with a team called the Bullfrogs, right?
A billboard?
Don't, Sparks, just stop right there. So there's a billboard for a team called the Bullfrogs, and then the Ducks move in, they become the actual NHL team, and they're like, hey, they're the new hockey team, right? In reality, in the early 90s, there was such a thing called it was Roller Hockey International. It was a roller hockey league that was played during the off season of the NHL. And the team in Anaheim, which was the only team, which was my favorite team when I was a kid, was the Anaheim Bullfrogs. That was real.
Cool.
And the Bullfrogs and the Ducks shared the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim before it became the Honda Center. So everyone thought it was perfect. They called it the pond. What's in the pond? Ducks and frogs. It was harmonious.
Are there giant frogs that battle the giant ducks?
They're the only anthropomorphic animals in that show. Everyone else is a human.
Got it. All right.
They are. And then the RHI went under, and then the Ducks just took the Honda Center completely, and then the rest is history. There you go. Sports history with Ben.
I think I just found my favorite new show, you guys.
Anyway, Mighty Ducks Game Changers is really great. Emilio Estevez is really good, returning as his role, Gordon Bombay. The ending is awesome. The cast is great. It really helps that it's developed by the guy who directed who wrote the first 3 films. But because he's super old, he gets a lot of young people in the writing team to kind of spice up the dialogue a bit and write some episodes centering around the younger characters, which makes them feel incredibly real.
Good.
In a way that was very surprising. They use like what are we on? Gen X, Gen Z? Gen Z, whatever. They say modern day slang, stuff that I've just heard last month, things that's been in the vocabulary for years. And it feels natural. It's coming from a natural place that doesn't feel forced, in a way that, say, we talked about, like Brian Michael Bendis currently writes younger characters as they were when we were kids.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I'm glad, because that is something that I know in comics that we deal with. Like 50, 60-year-old men still writing teenagers and just not knowing what they sound like. And it's just very, very clear, like, oh, you don't know how to write kids anymore. You're and it's not like it's their fault. They're old. And
they're
like
older.
And it's just nice that like that guy was like, hey, I don't want to be the sole writer of the show. I need younger people because it's 21st century. That makes me more excited for that show.
Sparks, you were going to say something?
I was just gonna say it is weird when it comes to Bendis because he has kids, a few kids. That it's like you'd think you'd pick up something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that show. I love the cast. I love the characters. I wasn't too crazy about the movies. I like them, but I didn't love them mostly because I don't have nostalgia for them. But the show I think rules, and it's completely new audience, accessible, and super fun.
Excellent.
That's cool, man. I don't know if I'll ever make it to it, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, someday if you do, I don't think you'd regret it.
I think that like your endorsement puts it on my list, but it doesn't. But there's a lot of other things like higher than that.
I have to get through the alien ducks that come to Anaheim first.
You do. It's a prequel. They're canon now.
I'm cool. The top thing for me to watch on Disney Plus right now is season 3 of DuckTales.
Yeah, me too.
Soon. So I want to watch DuckTales before I get to the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, and then I might watch a few episodes of the Mighty Ducks TV show just to refresh my memory.
Ben, I think you'd like it.
I'm pretty sure I will. I do have nostalgia for the Mighty Ducks movies, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this quite a bit.
I just remembered because I meant to bring this up last week and I forgot, and I'm going to forget later. So in Disney news, the Owl House got confirmed for a season 3. Its season 2 is about to drop.
Heck yeah.
Owl House season 1 still on Disney Plus. Y'all should go watch it. That's a great show. Created by a bisexual, featuring a bisexual character, like main character. Great show. 100%. Nice. Love it. I'm really glad that they're pushing that show to season 3.
That's awesome.
Speaking of, did you guys see news about Tessa Thompson, Taika Waititi, and
who didn't?
Did we talk about that last week?
So it was last Sunday. We were all in the car together, and I was on Twitter, and there were some pictures that came out, and wild. People at Disney apparently aren't happy about it, but who gives a fart?
That came from We Got This Covered. I wouldn't believe it.
Good, because that's stupid. Listen, bunch of hot people living their best life. Like, what's to get mad at?
I'm so happy for them. Like, legitimately.
What a life to live. Making a Thor movie, hanging out with hot people everywhere. We're all together. Like, what a life.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
All right, Sparks, your turn.
Okay, guys, this isn't going to take very long because I did a lot I did a lot of long versions of a few things because basically I watched.
It's what I call sex too.
Almost all of You season 2 I watched this week, so I finished it.
You.
Netflix's You. Really, really liked that show. Really enjoyed it. The last scene almost ruins the whole thing.
Oh no!
Oh
yeah,
God!
It's a big time bummer. The main character has a lot of fantastic growth throughout the season, and then the last scene kind of says, "But forget all of that." And I'm like, boy.
Then why? Then why?
So that it's gonna have a season 3. And Megan brought up to me that it might not be following the same character, and I'm like, if it's not following the same character, I'll almost be angrier because they could have just ended it with his full character arc done. Like, the only reason to ruin it in that last scene is if you're doing another season.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'll be here for it, honestly, because it's very hard. Like, the character is hard to root for because, for those who don't know, Netflix's You is about like an obsessive stalker guy. So he's a gross boy, but they make it very weird, and you're kind of compelled by him and all that kind of stuff. And there are a lot more things to root for him in season 2. But if they're going to go the route that it looks like they're going to go based on the last scene, it kind of makes him unable to be connected to anymore. They've kind of like driven him over the edge of like, you can have any kind of relationship with the character. You can't sympathize or empathize with him anymore. So I don't know if I'd be here. I'll be here for another season, which is a bummer. But I highly recommend the show. That last scene is just a bummer, but the show up to that point is really, really good. Season 2 features the character the actress who played Nell in Haunting season 1 and the au pair in Haunting season 2. She's
great.
really,
I love her.
She plays a great character in season 2 of You, and if it is coming back, she'll be back in season 3 if it is about the same characters.
Man, she's like Netflix's like darling. She's in so much stuff. It's
incredible. I mentioned this before, but like, to see her in this role is like, I recognize that she's the same person, but it's both her performance and something about the look she's doing in the show. She doesn't look like the same actress from the Haunting seasons, which is really interesting.
She's a transformer.
But she's very talented. She's a chameleon. But I do like the show. Season 2 sucked me in hardcore. Also, they just cast this week the young actress playing Wednesday Addams for the Addams Family show.
Well, they did.
She's from You season 2, and she was really good in it. Yeah, it's here. She's in You season 2. She's fantastic in it. So I'm really happy that she's playing Wednesday. I think she's going to be great. I watched a little bit more Schitt's Creek, not much. Still a good show. Highly recommend it. I heard that little meow, Emma.
She's just like staring at me, like, why won't you love me?
I watched. I think only a few more episodes of Castlevania, so I'm not even halfway done with the season. But I do really like it. Ben's right. It's way better balanced amongst all the characters than the previous season was. I'm able to follow through and care about people. Ben, for reference, the last episode I watched was the one where she dons the day armor.
Oh, that's so rad.
That was a really great episode.
Oh, no, man, that day armor is just so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Can I real quickly, Ryan, say something to you? So when you first showed me the background, I'm gonna explain to you what I saw real quickly. I saw a long piece of floor,
okay,
with some consoles at the front, and then the window.
Okay.
No,
that's
what I saw. And let me tell you, I just looked at it now, and it transformed into the ISS.
There you go.
So,
for audio listeners, I have a green screen, and I am in space in front of the International Space Station. But if you have a smaller screen, it might look like I'm not there.
It looks like you're at the cockpit of a spaceship.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing the season. I think this season of Castlevania is much better than season 3 by a good mile.
I follow.
It certainly is. Yeah,
I follow some of the animators of that show on Twitter, and they're not that they weren't proud of the other seasons, but like this season, like they went like super hard. And like I haven't watched it, but some of the animations that I've seen, like the storyboarding and the progress of how it turns into it, I'm like, holy shit! I can't wait to watch this show.
I don't think this is really a spoiler, but there's a whole episode that like kind of both recaps you on everything before you met him, and then everything since the end of last season for Saint Germain. That's a really great episode.
Yeah, that's. I wouldn't say that's a spoiler because when he does show up in the season, I go, hold on him. It's like a girlfriend review zone. Where it's like, hold up a minute.
Is that Bill Nye?
That is Bill Nye. Yes.
Yeah.
Not Bill Nye. It's not Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Yeah, it's Bill Nye. You're right.
Bill Nye is in Mank. Bill Nye is in Mank.
So looking forward to watching the rest of that. The other things I did a little bit more of the CW catch up because I'm still behind, which means I started Legends. That show's really good. We've still got this was the other thing. Constantine's still there. This season's all about dealing with a lot of alien stuff, and Constantine encounters alien magic, which he doesn't believe exists. And then he finds out that a demon learned that was real, and he kept a book from him, and he thinks it's all garbage and gibberish. And then he learns that it's real, and he's like, "There's alien magic, my god!" So aliens have a different type of magic, and Constantine's learning about it, which I think is dope.
They did that on Doctor Strange, what Jason Aaron was doing. I think no, Mark Wade.
Mark Wade. No,
Wade.
Yeah.
When he goes to the space, yeah.
I just they're doing a lot of great stuff with Constantine. That show's jumping. I really like it. Whatever may be going on behind the scenes, because obviously there's been some problematic stuff for some of the cast. But the show itself is solid. I highly recommend at some point, if you guys were to jump back in, at this point, if you guys were to jump into a CW show that's not Black Lightning, pretty much the number one I would recommend to you is Legends. Because even though it's so interconnected still to the Arrowverse stuff, it's also still the most disconnected, I think. And it's the most fun to watch.
Yeah,
it is like the closest you get to network television Doom Patrol at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely the one that like I plan to revisit. Just because like the other ones like quality wise, like they're there or not, but like Legends just always seems to be just like having a good time. Not that it can't be dramatic, but like that's the one where I'm like, oh, that's the one with the big teddy bear monsters. I'm gonna watch that one.
Legends has definitely become like the best of like the comedic, really like enjoy tongue-in-cheek stuff of Doctor Who when Doctor Who was pumping that really well. That's pretty much what Legends has become at this point. And they've been that for like 3 solid seasons of nonstop, like really hitting it out of the park. And the nice thing is like they've still consistently had shorter seasons than the other shows. So they're not over elongating their seasons. And when they've gotten good, you can just like go through them and you're like, this is great. Yeah, it is like my highest recommendation of them that isn't Black Lightning.
I mean, people love to shit all over the CW, but like it gets like retweeted like every week of the scene where Gorilla Grodd meets young Barack Obama, and I'm like, that's why I read comic books. It's for that kind of dumb stuff that's like so fun. I'm like, do you guys see that as a negative? I see this as a positive. In the premiere episode of this season,
they meet David Bowie. And the actor who plays David Bowie is better than the actor that was in that trailer for the documentary we watched. Like I was like, this is a pretty good David Bowie for just being in a single scene of this network.
There was an episode I saw ages ago when Martin Stein was still on the show, where they saved George Lucas.
Oh yeah.
I did hear something recently where they were like something that I haven't gotten to yet from this season, I guess, is retroactively making Martin Stein's character an abusive dad.
Uh-oh.
I did hear about that happening on Twitter, so I might not like that. We'll see. I haven't gotten there yet, but I did hear about that happening on Twitter, which I'm like, ooh, that sucks.
That seems like a choice.
I hope that's not really what's up, but we'll see. But I do really like that show. Some of the other ones like Flash is just kind of moving along, I guess.
Not at a quick pace, I'm guessing.
Oh, you know what? They did do a pretty. You know what? They did do a pretty interesting episode with Killer Frost that I watched in this chunk, which is called "The People versus Killer Frost," which is where this person wants to have her be forced to take the cure. And set a precedent that all meta criminals, anyone who has any amount of a criminal record and has meta powers, is forced to take the cure. And they want to make her the example of that. And she says, you can't just like change something that is part of who we are. So she volunteers for a life sentence in prison instead. So that's pretty interesting.
Is she?
That was a good episode.
Is she still on the show, or is this other writer off the show?
Killer Frost and Caitlin separated, so
That's
Killer
right.
Frost will go to prison, but Caitlin's still on the show.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that was actually a pretty good episode. I think they thought around a lot of like a good argument about like what the allegory is of metahumans representing like marginalized groups. And that was actually pretty good. It didn't focus on the Flash at all, and so but that was one of the better episodes. Batwoman's in an interesting place. They just had Black Mask has made Kate Kane thinks she's his daughter who died, and so she's using Enigma, which is not Edward Nygma. It's like a reimagining of Edward Nygma, which is called Enigma, and she can change a person's memory patterns. So she's supplanted the personality of his daughter into Kate Kane. I know, right? And Kate Kane has a screwed up face and wears a mask. Anyway, she had like a confrontation with Alice that was kind of cool. Batwoman isn't bad. It's just in an interesting place. They're doing a lot of weird stuff there.
Real quickly, I just had to double check. Enigma is a character from the DC Comics, not Edward Nygma.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I am unfamiliar.
Didn't they call in Batman Arkham Origins? Didn't Riddler go by Enigma before?
Well, his name is Enigma.
Yeah, I know that, but never mind.
That's what he was doing in Arkham Origins.
That's all I was trying to specify, is that it's not the Riddler,
right?
Yet.
That's I don't have much to say else about that. And then the last thing I'll talk about is I just played more Knockout City, guys. Knockout City is incredible. I love it.
Oh, that game is fun.
Brandon hopped in.
I did.
And had a good time. We played our biggest match ever with 7 players at one point.
Wow.
7 of our friends, which was really cool. I still highly recommend that game. I don't think it's I think the free time is over now, but that is the coolest competitive game right now, in my opinion. So I highly recommend it to people.
Only $20.
Yeah, only $20, and
it's so good.
And you can play it across all platforms. Available on everything, and you can play with each other, and it's great. So anyway, that's that. That's me.
All right.
Boop, boop, boop.
Shall we get into our news then?
Let's dive in.
So we need to wait 12-ish hours, right?
All right, I'm gonna take a nap.
All right, everybody, grab your popcorn. Smoke them if you got them.
Oh, sorry.
Mag
you said smoke them if you got them.
Mag is here. Good morning, Mag.
Look at you.
Mag says good evening, even though it is good morning.
Rain or shine, glad to have you here, Mag.
And it's nighttime somewhere in the world, I assume.
Australia.
Yeah, probably. All right. I got some sad news up top.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel E. Wright, who voiced Sebastian in The Little Mermaid, passed away this week at 72 due to prostate cancer.
Yes, Samuel E. Wright also originated the role of Mufasa in the Broadway production of The Lion King.
He did, yes.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yep. So big bummer. Yeah. Good long life though.
Good long career.
Like one of the most iconic like Disney friends. Like that little guy will be around forever, man.
Yeah. Well, and he's a Mufasa.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely one of the most iconic Disney voices. Like when you hear Sebastian, you always have Samuel E. Wright's voice in your head for just going down to Disney parks, or just even did he voice Sebastian in the cartoon as well, or was that someone else?
That I don't know. I would have to look it up.
I don't know.
Which I will do right now.
Okay. Yeah, but like when I heard, Under the Sea is my favorite song in that movie. It's an amazing song. Just Sebastian himself is a funny character, so it is a huge bummer. I was really bummed out when I heard this news.
We did a Mike Patola possible movie trivia challenge for The Little Mermaid. If you guys remember. So Kevin Clark was killed this week. If you don't know that name right off the bat, that's fine. He played Freddie in School of Rock, the drummer.
No. Yeah, he was 32.
Samuel E. Wright did in fact voice Sebastian for the entire run of the Little Mermaid show.
Wow, good for him.
There we go.
Nice.
I'm sorry. We're talking about
Kevin Clark.
right.
He played Freddie in School of Rock. He did not pursue acting after School of Rock. He continued on as a musician. He was in a band. He was killed because of a hit and run at the age of 32 while riding his bike at 1:20 a.m.
Yeah. Man,
No.
this is just tragic. Like, there's nothing else to say. Like, School of Rock is such an important movie to so many people. For so many reasons, whether it's about music or body positivity. It's just a good movie. This is awful.
Yeah.
No, School of Rock was definitely one of my influences when I was a kid. I mean, even when I would later on in life, when I'm like reading into people like, you know, doing deep dives, like deep analytical stuff, because when I would watch the movie, it's like it's a bunch of kids in a school that has like a stick up their ass, and then they actually learn to have fun. It's I mean, I've never seen the movie, but this might be a bad comparison. It's like Footloose, but with rock music.
It's not. No, that's not it. No.
Even Jack Black has said, like, if I never make another movie in my life, I will think I'm successful because I did School of Rock.
Yeah.
School of Rock is so important.
Yeah. It's School of Rock's about like learning like who you are, and like it is like about like a school being like uptight, but that's not really like the point of it. It's about like Jack Black teaching these kids it's okay to be who you are, and you could be any color, any diversity, you could be anybody, and music's important to you. Like and anybody could play any instrument. Like it's a really important movie, and like the older we get, like our generation, like that movie rises up in terms of like importance. It's a shame. He's so young.
It is. No, one of my favorite scenes in that entire movie is it is involving the actor who died when they're trying to figure out who could play what in the band. He's like, I play percussion because he could play anything else. Shut up, dude. And then he turns out to be an amazing drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like you said, Ryan, and so many people take that movie and it means so much to them. It's like the scenes with that one girl who's like scared she could sing because she's a little bigger. And all the scenes with Jack Black, he's like, hey, I'm a little big, but you've heard of Aretha Franklin? Everyone loves her. She is one of the best singers in the world. And when in the final bit of the movie, I can go on. I love that movie. It's sad. It sucks. I'm sad.
Yeah. This is just tragic at any time. It being from a movie that's so important to people, it just kind of makes it extra so. But yeah, 32, way too young.
Yeah.
That's really tragic to lose someone at that age. I don't have any familiarity with the movie, but that's a bummer.
You haven't seen the movie?
No.
Oh, okay. You should. I think you'd like it. Paul Soles or Soles, probably not, but he passed away. This is important because he was the original voice of Spider-Man in the 1960s cartoon. So he is the first actor to portray Spider-Man in any medium. He passed away at the age of 90.
Oh wow, man, that's a pretty awesome legacy to have. Like, I'm the first Spider-Man. Like, that's awesome. Good for that guy.
And then Eric Carle, who is a children's author. Most of us would probably be familiar with his book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He passed away at the age of 91.
Yeah, I remember that book.
That was such a good book. Is such a good book, and
91's a good age to punch out at.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Definitely an author that like we probably all read as a kid, and like didn't realize like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both those ages, both those people who passed, cause of death was not given, so I just assume kind of old age.
Mm-hmm.
It's their time.
Complications of life.
Yeah. Okay, but let's get into some casting.
Yes, it's me. I'm in the movie.
Got a lot of casting. We have all been cast in Knives Out.
Good.
Knives Out 2, as well as, remember, guys, Spider-Man No Way Home is coming. We're in that.
Guys, real quick. We're not going to talk about it in the news. I am kind of getting worried about this movie.
Me too.
And this is normally the thing where I'm like, I love big stupid shit. But like, this is a 2-hour movie. Uh-oh. Oopsie poopsies. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oopsie poopsies.
Oh my god.
Are we talking about Spider-Man?
No.
Oh.
Well, yes. At that moment we are, yeah.
Sorry, I don't. And not the actual. It's not in the news, but I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I haven't put Spider-Man No Way Home in the news for a while because I'm kind of waiting for that trailer at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
okay,
what are we?
So we are talking about Spider-Man right now.
Currently.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope some of these rumors are false. Just gonna throw that out there.
I have been nervous for a while.
Yeah.
I
But
just want a Spider-Man movie, man.
Don't worry, you're getting all of them at the same time.
No, that's not what I mean.
You want Spider-Man? Here's all of the Spider-Man.
it's once again Sony learning the wrong lessons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's weird because it's still like Kevin's got pull on this one. Like,
Not
It's
enough.
true.
Not enough.
Mag accurately says butt clenching.
Finish it.
100%.
Yeah. But anyway, we talked a little bit about this new Willy Wonka origin story movie, just called Wonka, I believe. This week we have gotten a cast. Willy Wonka will be played by Timothée Chalamet.
This is like considering we're talking about a movie today about like what do we need origins or whatever. This is really good casting.
Yeah.
This is like if we're going for a young Gene Wilder, Timothée Chalamet is a really, really good young actor. And it's the guy who made the Paddington movies. So I have no reason to hate this movie except for the fact that like, oh, do I need this origin? No,
Yeah.
but I don't need anything. So like
That
right now,
a friend of mine posted on Instagram and he was like, how dare they cast the thing or Willy Wonka origin story? I'm like, look, I mean, it's the director of both Paddington movies. And I'm like, I don't know if I think this is a win.
until I see a bad trailer, like I have no reason to hate this thing.
Yeah. The writer is Simon Rich, who wrote American Pickle.
Oh, that's the Seth Rogen movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay,
pretty good.
all right.
So I'm hopeful.
Listen, I watched Cruella, so like I'm open to as long as it's good, just whatever. Like I don't know.
The Last of Us had some casting this week with the announcement that Meryl Dandridge, hope I pronounced that right, will reprise her role that she plays in the games as Marlene.
Yeah,
Sparky
I think that's really cool.
I don't know if this has like ever happened before like this.
Probably not. There's not a lot of video game stuff to.
No,
to
I
make
mean
that connection
even vice versa, like the same actor playing the live action and like if anything, like movie, comic, TV show, like that's really, really cool. And
Saw Gerrera.
there you go. That's what I'm looking for.
That happened movie first.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's still
Yeah.
happened in the or if you want Katie Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff, that's a good point.
From animation to
Oh, okay,
live
cool.
action.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I like when that's
Star Wars has done it, baby.
There you go. Yeah,
but it is cool to see her reprising the role.
It probably doesn't count because Tails was only in that tiny little bit at the end of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But Colleen O'Shaughnessy, she's the voice of Tails in the game, so she voiced
Sonic,
it.
The sequel counts
for sure.
Yeah,
no, for sure, Ben.
Yeah.
We talked about Star Wars. I forgot I did something. I forgot something I did. If I may,
do it. What'd you do?
I went to Galaxy's Edge and I rode Rise of the Resistance.
Oh, heck yeah!
I'm not going to spoil a damn thing. I just will say it might be the greatest ride I've ever been on.
It's pretty good.
If you haven't,
which route did you go? Did you go the up route and back, or the down route and forward?
I think we did up and back.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, I was blown away. I'm so glad I didn't know anything about that ride except kind of how that was made because of that one docuseries. But man, I got the ride started. I was like, oh, this is the start? Cool.
Yeah. How crowded was it?
Not very.
Nice. That's excellent.
Yeah, it was awesome. I thought I really like Galaxy's Edge because I think it's creating some really innovative rides that have never been some of the technology that's never been seen before. Very unique stuff. I thought Smuggler's Run was like the tip of that iceberg. Boy.
Yeah, that Star Wars land is pretty cool. It's pretty sweet.
I loved it. I love that ride so much. Anyway, sorry.
No, excuse me. That's a great character. I just can't wait. It's really crazy that this thing is happening so fast, and like it's like wow, it's really happening with like a great team behind it, like creatively and like acting. Like let's hope they live up to how good that game is.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Spider-Man, Kraven the Hunter has been cast.
They're still doing this.
They just casted him.
If you remember, J.C. Chandor directing this movie that's being written by Art Markham, Matt Holloway, who did Iron Man, Transformers 5, and Men in Black International.
You're 1 for 3, buddy.
And they're doing the upcoming Uncharted.
You're 1 for 4, buddy.
And Richard Wenk, who has written Expendables 2 and Jack Reacher 2. So this is that movie, if you recall, has just cast Quicksilver himself, Aaron Taylor Johnson, as the title role of Kraven the Hunter.
And they're still trying to say this is going to be in the MCU, and I'm like, yeah, is it? Is
it really? Yeah.
My biggest problem with this is just like Kraven is 100% a character that doesn't need to be white.
Nope.
Not even a little. And Aaron Taylor Johnson looks nothing like him to begin with. I've obviously shouted out Manu Bennett as a great choice for Kraven. But there are plenty of others who are just not white actors. There's just I don't understand. I don't think Kraven has been depicted as wholly white for a while.
So he's Russian. He's Russian.
Yeah.
He's kind of white. He's kind of white.
Sure.
He's white.
Well, but you don't have to, because it doesn't really matter where he comes from. That's not part of his origin. I have said that after Eurovision, I felt like Dan Stevens could be a fun Kraven the Hunter, but I wasn't too serious about that.
Sure.
I mean, he'd be more interesting for sure.
Yeah, I just it definitely feels like an opportunity for diversity casting. So I don't know why you'd go against it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, I will defend him in that he has been nominated for Oscars, and the movies that he has been in where he really, really tries. Even in Tenet, half of us get Emma, no. That was so close, you guys. Oh my god, her finger was on that button. You jerk. Okay, so he's in Tenet, and half of us didn't recognize him because he's big and bulky and super British. So he can be a good actor. He can be a chameleon in Nocturnal Animals, the movies he's nominated for an Oscar for. That's one of the best. He will never do a better acting role than that. But that's not what Kraven is. So it's just what's the why? Why do we need a Kraven movie? Why?
Simple answer. We don't.
I want to pull up Mags. Curious if they add
Chameleon.
So I read that as Charmeleon. I was very confused.
Chameleon's a great Spider-Man villain, and that would be a fun thing. But they also have scrolls, so now are they gonna do whatever?
Yeah, I like
Kraven a lot. He's super cool. But like his most famous story is him killing Spider-Man. That's what he's famous for.
But if they're not going to connect this to the MCU, well, okay, I think this is Amy Pascal like digging her grave. She's always kind of been like, yeah, we're MCU adjacent. We have a plan, blah blah blah. This sealed it. I don't think Kevin Feige would ever let this happen. The person who played Quicksilver and being the Kraven the Hunter at the same franchise, no way.
100%. This is just ruffling any feathers of like any type of Quicksilver comeback or like that character's now just dead. That character's gone. Like
I stand by what I suspect is going to happen, which is kind of what it seemed like the language coming out of Sony was hinting at this week, which is that they intend to put Spider-Man in their movies. I just don't think it's going to be the MCU Spider-Man. I think we're just going to get a different Spider-Man for those Sony connected films. I don't think it's going to be in the MCU. Because obviously we can have 100 Batman. Like I would love if we had the MCU Spider-Man and also Sony had their Spider-Man versus Sinister Six. You don't need Tom Holland for that. I would like to have these Spider-Man villains have Spider-Man in the movie. It just doesn't make sense that they don't. It's just like you're obviously doing it on purpose because you can't use Spider-Man. I'm just like, then why? I know you want to make $1 billion, but after a point, like it's just like creative bankruptcy to me. Like I truly think like, you know, the most like pessimistic version of this that I could present is that I do think that there's just such bad communication and planning going on between mostly from Sony, but like in conjunction with Marvel, that they're like, there are voices there that are hoping, yes, we can connect to the MCU. That's what Morbius is for. But there are also ones who are like, there's just no, you know, like Kevin's not going to budge on this. So Venom's not connected. Kraven's not going to be connected. And then Morbius is just kind of not ever going to get acknowledged and it's actually still just going to be a part of this Sony universe thing, even though it had Michael Keaton in it. It'll just like because the communication is so bad. Like I don't think there's an agreement. I think that they just could use him, so they were like, "Look, we're trying to be buddy with the MCU," and Kevin's gonna be like, "No,
I don't want to."
Yeah, exactly. And they're just gonna have to go their own way. And
it's like
I'm not stoked for a Craven solo film to begin with, but I'm certainly not stoked with the casting choice. It's not really anything against Aaron Taylor Johnson. I just don't think he's Craven.
Yeah. Like it's just they could have done so many more inspiring choices, and this is like, well, he definitely can do good, but I'm like, you could have done something different. Like, especially again, this dude he was just a superhero. He's been multiple superheroes. Like, why do you got to get the same people and like go outside of your normal areas?
He was kick-ass.
Yeah.
Remember when we all thought he was Rasputin in the Kingsman?
Man, talk about a transformation that was a lie.
Right. That movie's coming out January 13th, 2023.
This definitely sits in the same place as I felt, and still largely do, when Benedict Cumberbatch was cast as Doctor Strange, which is like, I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's a good Doctor Strange. I just also think that character didn't have to be white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about Craven. I'm like, that character doesn't have to be white.
Mm-hmm.
Green Lantern. Speaking of white people, Green Lantern has cast Alan Scott, Jeremy Irvine from Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and Treadstone, the USA spinoff to the Jason Bourne franchise, has been cast as Alan Scott.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's young, so I assume that this is a flashback to the 1940s because they have said that this is also partially set there.
So, do you guys know the like? I'm sure you read the synopsis, but like Alan Scott is an FBI agent in the 40s. That's kind of weird. That's a little weird. Why is he a cop?
He was a railroad worker initially in the comics. So
very different.
Maybe they just wanted to give him something more exciting.
I guess you didn't have to make him an arc.
That's true.
That's cool. This is really cool.
Green Lanterns are cops.
No, yeah, I know, Brandon. That's why I don't read a lot of.
The Green Lanterns we know are space cops, but Alan Scott technically isn't.
Alan Scott is more of a superhero because his powers come from the Starheart and not the Green Lantern battery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited that this is like a time period thing. Like it's happening all over different decades. That's really cool.
Yeah. Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz are also in the show, so I'm sure we're going to hear about their casting next.
That's awesome.
Because now we have Guy Gardner and Alan Scott. I love Alan Scott. I think he's one of my favorite Green Lanterns after Hal Jordan, and so I'm really excited to see. I hope we get a goofy costume. I'm hoping for the long collar,
that huge cape. That'd be cool.
You said that, and I just immediately pictured Alan Scott in a goofy mascot outfit.
Oh God.
Watch out, Parallax.
And they're keeping the retcon that he's gay canon to the show. So that's really cool.
Awesome. Are they gonna do the thing where wood doesn't work against it?
Boy, I hope not.
I forgot that was his weakness in the original books.
I can construct anything from my mind, but a piece of plywood will stop me.
But that's because that doesn't make any sense. Solomon Grundy was his major villain because of that.
Oh, he's made of wood, yeah.
Yes, right. He's made of wood. Solomon Grundy is an old character, and a lot of people forget that he's not originally a Batman villain.
No, he's an old boy. Yeah.
Solomon Grundy was like a zombie.
Yeah. Zombies are made of wood.
That's the chemical transformation.
I'm not gonna get into it. I know which battles to walk away from, and this is one of them.
It's better than giving Hal Jordan an Asian sidekick that his ring can't work around because of the yellow impurity.
Oh no!
Oh, that's
writers.
They did that.
They did that. That's canon. In the old days, like Hal Jordan's Silver Age, and probably made it into the Bronze Age too.
Maybe comics are a mistake sometimes.
Hal Jordan's weakness has always been yellow, and Jeff Johns made that the color of fear. But so the color yellow was his weakness. So they gave him an Asian sidekick that he couldn't use his ring around.
Oh,
boy, howdy.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't excuse it, but thank God that was like back then. But still, that is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh God. Oh man,
The wood thing isn't looking so ridiculous now, is it?
Somebody thought they were so clever.
Yeah, didn't they?
Turns out they were just racist.
That character was in Jeff Johns' run. Far less racist.
Good.
I have never been more happy that Jeff Johns came in and redid the entire color spectrum to have like an emotion with it.
Yeah.
So, because that is much more better than that one. Dear God, that is bad.
Yeah, man. And that color represents fear. Oops.
Bad times.
Secret Invasion has cast Christopher McDonald. The one and only.
Who?
Oh, I forgot to write down who he's from. You'd recognize his face. Look up his face and you're going to be like, oh yeah.
Got it.
That guy who's been in everything.
Nope, that's not his name.
We don't know as what though, right?
No, we don't know who anybody is at this point.
It's
Ben Mendelsohn.
It's Shooter McGavin.
Oh, it's Shooter McGavin.
Yeah. Oh, that dude's definitely a bad guy.
Yeah, we don't know outside of Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. We don't know anybody else.
That's definitely a scroll boy right
dude,
there.
That's awesome. That dude, I love that guy. That's great.
You both looked that way at the same time. That way. Wait. That way at the same time. It was very weird.
I love it. Cameras are funny.
Yeah, may I correct it as Shooter McGavin. Yeah, so that's cool. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
The Untitled Wakanda Disney Plus series has announced that Danae Guerrera will be returning as Okoye.
Well, she better.
Well, it could be an early prequel.
I don't care. She better be Okoye, or else I'm going to be a little upset.
It's her grandmother.
I definitely always assumed that she was in that show.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't consider Brandon. Yeah, like if the prequel like following T'Chaka or something, but like I just assumed it was like it's just what's happening in Wakanda without Black Panther. Like
yeah, which is also Black Panther 2.
Which is also Black Panther 2, sadly. Yeah. Wow.
Right. Sandman.
Yo, guys.
They released some good shit.
Before we get to this, you can definitely tell when some people haven't read a comic when they comment on things.
Yeah.
This is one of those situations that were like, oh, you definitely don't know Sandman.
Constantine.
I'll be right back.
Constantine, death being non-binary, like a non-gendered, like all that stuff.
Well, now previously, if you guys remember, the casting for Sandman included Tom Sturridge, who plays Dream of the Endless, Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer, Sanjeev Bhaskar and Asim Chaudhry as Cain and Abel, Charles Dance as Roderick Burgess, Vivian Archiempong
Yep.
as Lucian, and Boyd Holbrook as the Corinthian.
Good.
That's who we knew. Now we have 11 more cast members.
Oh my god, it's a lot of people.
Kirby Hal Baptiste, who is actually in the movie we're reviewing today.
Yep.
Will play Death, Dream's wiser, nicer, and much more sensible sister.
She was Anita Darling, Ben, in Cruella.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry. When Brandon said the name, I was like, "Wait, who the heck is she?"
She's also in A Good Place as Chidi's love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not that far in The Good Place, but okay, awesome.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
good. Yeah, she's cool.
Mason Alexander Park will play Desire, Dream's sibling, and everything you want, whatever you want, and whoever you are. Desire has also trouble for Dream. Families are complicated. This is, by the way, Neil Gaiman's words. He wrote these descriptions. Donna Preston is Despair, Desire's twin, Dream's sister. She is the moment when all hope is gone, the bleakest of the endless. Jenna Coleman, Doctor Who's own Jenna Coleman, Captain America: The First Avenger's own Jenna Coleman.
Also true.
Love her.
Will play Joanna Constantine.
Woo, boy! People on the internet don't know shit.
Joanna Constantine, who is in fact John Constantine's great-great-great-grandmother.
Yeah, everyone's just assuming, oh, they're gender bending John Constantine. I'm like, no, you guys don't read comic books. You're just assuming. You just assume. Always assuming.
Don't you just love it when you get a bunch of trolls on the internet who think they know their shit and it's like, oh, they're gender bending. How dare they? It's John Constantine. It's like,
no,
I
don't love it.
You know what I do love? I do love Neil Gaiman telling everyone to shut the hell up.
That's what I meant. When I said don't you love it, because what I meant was like when like the creator.
I know what you meant.
Like, hey guys, it's actually in the books. You know nothing. Set the down.
She is an 18th century occult adventuress and John Constantine's great-great-great-grandmother, as we said. So,
I
cool.
really like Jenna Coleman, and I haven't seen enough stuff with her outside of Doctor Who. But like, I think this is great casting. Like for her to play a John Constantine-esque character, she's quick and witty. I think this is awesome.
Yeah, me too. I like her a lot. Naomi Niam Walsh, sorry, and Jolie Richardson will play young and old Ethel Cripps. So one will play young, one will play old.
Cool.
Roderick Burgess Love, you know, the Charles Dance's character. John Dee's mother, a betrayed and determined young woman seeking to survive in the present day, now a woman of 100 identities and 1,000 lies. So we're seeing her in flashbacks and present day.
John Dee's. Brandon, you know about John Dee's?
I'm about to talk to you about him.
Don't
He's
say
nuts.
it. Don't say it, Ryan. I knew it.
Sorry.
Don't you dare, Ryan. Don't you?
Too late. Sorry. I can
How dare you insult David Thewlis, who is playing John Dee?
Ares himself.
Did you guys see that?
Oh my god, it was incredible.
He didn't know anything. That
That was
dude's really
pretty funny.
His Instagram's really funny.
Did you see this, Ben?
No, I have not seen it.
Once again, I have to reiterate, this is not a knock on the Snyder Cut. I have no stake in that movie. But David Thewlis posted a picture of him as Ares in the Snyder Cut, and I was like, I don't know who these people are. What is this?
When did this happen?
When did this happen?
They just like CGI'd his face on,
which is really like, there is no excuse. Like, sorry, Snyder. Like, I like that film fine.
Yeah.
There is no excuse to not ask an actor to use their likeness.
That's true.
Especially in a production like that. This is not something where he should have gone to Instagram to have to ask, what is this? Why am I in this?
You
what
see,
happened?
when actors are in movies, they get paid. That's like when you're famous, like you get paid to be in movies. So sometimes you can't just like, oh, I'm in this movie. Where's my money?
I'm sure somewhere in his contract, like with Wonder Woman, there was something that allowed them to like loophole into this is related to
they
his
own your
contract
face.
of doing DC and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's still like, you should probably check in, especially when it's something that many years out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he said, so he posted on Instagram that, and then people were like, this is the Snyder Cut. And it's like, the what? And he's like, you were in this movie. It's like, I don't remember this at all. And he even says, so please call my agent to make this make sense.
Yeah. It was cute.
Yeah. John Dee is Ethel's son. Ethel's son is dangerous. He was driven mad long ago. Now he's out on a quest for truth that may destroy the world. Kaya Ra, that's a cool name.
Yeah.
Will play Rose Walker, a young woman on a desperate search for her missing brother, who finds a family she didn't know that she had and a connection to Dream that neither of them can escape. Razan Jamal will play Lyta Hall, Rose's friend, a young widow mourning her husband Hector. Rose doesn't know that Hector has started showing up in Lyta's dreams, though, or that strange things are happening.
Hector! Do you guys remember in Troy? Do you ever see Troy when Brad Pitt got his cousin killed because his cousin was pretending to be Achilles? So he goes to Troy and he's like, Hector, I want to fight you. And he steals Hector like for 10 minutes. Sick.
Yeah. I remember that.
Sandra James Young will play Unity Kincaid, an heiress, Rose's mysterious benefactor. She has spent a century asleep. Now she's awake, having missed out on her life.
Unity Kincaid is a dope name.
This is the next.
I know that feeling.
We're gonna do the first volume in this show when this comes out.
Oh my goodness.
Stephen Fry will play Gilbert.
Gottfried.
No. Rose Walker's debonair, that would be funny. Debonair protector, a dab hand with a paradox and a sword cane.
Good for Stephen Fry. I like him.
Yeah, I really like him as Mycroft. Patton Oswalt will play Matthew, Dream's trusted emissary and a raven. So he's the voice of Matthew.
You guys know this character because you read Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Matthew the Raven is Matt Cable, Abby's husband, who gets turned into a zombie man by Anton Arcane. That's the same character
Oh.
because this is all Vertigo shit and it's all connected. A boo boo pow.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
A boo boo pow.
A boo boo pow.
Man, that's good. I'm gonna put that on a shirt.
I was about to say, yeah, you should put that on a shirt.
Guys, Sonic time. Oh,
Yeah.
bye, Sparks.
No, okay. Bye, Sparks.
Real quick, one more thing on the casting of Sandman. Death is being played by a black woman, and a lot of people on the internet are dumb, and they're like, "Oh, the embodiment of death is being played by a black woman. This thing that doesn't exist is played by somebody that's not white. Y'all are dumb. Black goth girls also exist. Shut up."
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh, I think we have an audience.
Ooh,
Do you guys see that?
I do. Audio
Let's
listeners,
wave at them.
they're not going to be able to see it.
All right.
All right.
They're not
All
seeing
right.
us. Okay,
All right,
anyway.
Brandon.
So Sonic news, Ben. Why don't you? I'm gonna let you and Sparks. Sparks is currently absent.
Look how fast I'm running. Look how fast I'm running. I'm
So
in
go
space.
ahead. Let's talk a bit about Sonic.
So Sonic had like, so Sega had like a little Sonic Central because, as we all know, this is 2021 is Sonic's 30th anniversary. So they kind of had a
1921.
a little Sonic Direct. I was hoping for something, which we got something. Of course, it's like the previous Nintendo Direct we had a few months ago. Not a whole lot being shown because they're waiting for the bigger announcements at E3. But
Importantly, there was this exact thing was supposed to happen last year. It was delayed because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing about it is that for a thing that delayed about a year, this was incredibly underwhelming.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, here's the thing. Like, you already had people a year ago anticipating a big announcement that would have been like a full-blown like re-release of some of the best Sonic games, kind of like even just similar to what Mario did, which people are talking about like Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, either in remastered re-releases or remakes.
Yeah,
because that's things that the fans love and have been wanting for a while.
We've been chomping on the bit for Sonic Adventure to come out for a while because those games are well over 20 years old at this point.
Yeah, and so like the fans want that, or they want Sonic Adventure 3 because they've been wanting that forever, and they're like, the 30th anniversary is a great time to do that, guys. So these are all things that they've been desiring, and you come to this and they're like, hey guys, how about Sonic Colors Ultimate Edition on all systems? And everyone's like, I mean, that's not a game I don't like, but it's not what I was asking for, and that's kind of like the big feature thing. And then again, like, it's so underwhelming because we are in the year of Sonic's 30th anniversary, and everything that they're pretty much showing us outside of Sonic Colors is like, well, this is coming 2021 or 2022, or sorry, 2022 or 2023. These things are later. You have the Netflix show Sonic Prime that they couldn't show us anything from. They just talk about it.
I will say, I watched this thing too, just so I would be in the know.
Sure.
The people making the Sonic show, they're really good. It's Man of Action, and they made like Big Hero 6, and they made like the Marvel Avengers like shows. Like, these are like, this is not the team I expected to make this kind of show, and this makes me have faith in that show more than any other creative team.
Absolutely. Like, I am glad that they are the people making the show. We knew they were the people making the show. That's my only thing is like, I'm like, come with something. Come with something to show me. From that, again, like, this is supposed to be Sonic's 30th anniversary celebrational announcement thing. And basically what you're telling me is see you next year on most of these things. And for something that was already delayed from the pandemic, supposed to be announcing and celebrating Sonic's 30th, this is kind of a bummer, especially to end the whole thing with a tease of a game that everyone's like, okay.
They don't even show you anything.
No one knows what this game is.
No, that teaser, I was looking, I was like, okay, what is this?
So I know what it is, and I think I know what the title is too, because people have found some stuff out. It's called Sonic Rangers, and it's a 3D open world game. Full, like, it's Breath of the Wild inspired is what they said.
I've looked where I could, and I didn't find any like absolute hard information, but I trust what you're saying. But like, I know like people have been hypothesizing that it's called Sonic Rangers and things like that. Mm-hmm. I've also seen people suspecting that this is essentially going to be, even if it's not exactly a new Sonic the Hedgehog 06, which is the worst idea.
That's probably the last Sonic game I played before Sonic Mania.
Sonic fans came to this thing wanting really there were two major things that they wanted. One of these two, and it was either Sonic Adventure 3 announced or a Sonic Mania sequel announced. Yeah. They got neither. It's all kind of a bummer. They announced the Origins release, which Ben and I talked a bit about, and I'm a little like, okay, really? I guess it's cool. It's Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic 3.
Sonic 3, Knuckles, and Sonic CD.
Right.
Because before, back on the Mega Collections on the GameCube and the PlayStation 2, they never included Sonic CD. Sonic CD was on its own collection with Sonic Gems, with Sonic Fighters and Sonic R, and a bunch of the Game Gear titles.
Right.
So this seems like a good collection then.
Well, I mean, it does, but here's the thing. I mean, okay, so I'm a little I'm okay with this one because Sonic 3 and Sonic 3, Knuckles, and CD have kind of been on limbo for a while, especially Sonic 3 because there's been like some legal issues with the game. Where Sonic
you can get it on Steam.
Yeah. Whereas with Sonic 1 and 2, that's no problem. You can play those games anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, so Sonic CD, I'm happy to play that on a console because right now the best way to play Sonic CD is on my phone.
Sure.
But because that's my favorite Sonic game. That's the game that got me into this franchise. But just, I mean, hearing the Origin stuff and those 5 games announced, cool. You can still add so much more from the Sega era. I mean, I was talking about this, I want to say with either Mike or with Toploader on our pause menu, but Sega constantly gives us Genesis collections. But if you think about it, a whole complete 100% Genesis includes the Sega CD and the Sega 32X. Put some Knuckles Chaotix in there. Put Sonic R on there. Give us some of the Saturn games that weren't the best, or give us the overworld of Sonic Jam, which was a 3D space.
There's so much that you could basically, like the GameCube Mega Collections, again, aside from Sonic CD, have pretty much every classic Sonic game available if you bought both of them. Why isn't that just the collection we're doing is kind of baffling to me, especially these are all older games. It wouldn't take a lot to implant them.
You know what else they could throw on in the Sonic Origins thing just for shits and giggles? Throw the Sonic Advance games on there. They're Game Boy games. They can easily be on this collection, no problem.
Even if they were just Switch exclusives, it's a little that's definitely something where like I know there's a big fandom for the Sonic Game Boy Advance games, and the fact that there is no outlet to put them anywhere at this moment is a little strange. So it's just like they didn't even meet the lowest bar of expectation, I feel, for what a 30th anniversary for this character should be. That's not like Mario, I kind of think didn't either really clear that bar very well.
They killed Mario.
Yeah, but for Sonic, it's really just sitting at a boy for a year of anticipation about what you guys were going to announce. This is pretty much the most disappointing version of what this could have been.
And like the big new game isn't even coming out this year either.
Yeah,
right.
So
the one thing that I'm kind of holding out a little bit for is that they did say that they're going to mention more in June for E3, which but. Like Spark said, we've been waiting for a year. Like they're for the announcement for Sonic Origins, they're saying, there's this game's in development, but we're gonna tell you a whole lot more later this year. It's like, just tell me, fine,
E3
better.
E3's in 2 weeks. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And also, oh my god, just gonna be so much news.
I mean, I know we've kind of been like a little negative on the whole thing, but I am excited to play Sonic Colors on the Switch because I never got to play Sonic Colors, and before Generations came out, that was one of the better Sonic games.
Oh, it is?
After Sonic 06.
Yeah, I've heard people on the internet say they don't like Sonic Colors.
Really? I've heard otherwise, but
I don't know. I'm not in the Sonic community, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what Sparks is saying because I was kind of like. Okay, I wasn't like we saw the trailer for the new Sonic Team game. I'm like, what is this? And we get just like it's coming. I'm like, cool, but what is it?
There were like these like they're making like short Sonic animations. I thought those looked nice.
Yes, the tied to colors.
Yeah.
Colors.
Yeah. I like that.
Also, another big thing that happened this week that also applies to Sonic. Roger Craig Smith was rehired as the voice of Sonic.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also in the Olympics game. Did you guys see that shit? It's just a dude in a Sonic suit running in the Olympics. It's hilarious.
That was weird.
No, I'm surprised because the Olympics, for a while the actually licensed Olympic games that would come out were Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games,
but now he's just in the human Olympics.
No, now they actually made a legit Olympics game. I'm like, this is. So we have Mario and Sonic Tokyo 2020. Now we have the Tokyo 2020 Olympics with Sonic inside it. That's weird.
Sonic is just like the icon of the Olympics from now on.
which is weird because I don't know.
Sonic Colors, Rise of the Wisp, the two-part animated short, Roger Craig Smith.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. That guy, he's been Sonic and Batman. That's what a cool life. He was Arkham. He was Arkham Origins. He was pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I definitely was way more pumped going into it than what we got out of it.
I mean, if they drop the ball at E3, I'm gonna be like, wow, this sucks. But
I think also like a lot of the community has taken this as like, okay, so we're never getting Adventure 3 because this would have been the year you announce it, because like people have been asking for it for years, and this would have been the year you're not doing it. And I feel like everyone's pretty confident now. If we are getting Adventure 1 or 2 re-releases or remakes, we're years away from it. Like
it's probably
unlikely.
It might be the 35th anniversary when they do that. If we don't get it for the 30th, which I'm going to be very mad about, but we do get it on the 35, okay. But even when the 35th anniversary comes around and they still haven't done anything like that, I'm going to be like, okay, Sega, what the damn hell?
My last thing, as the #1 Sonic fan, I just don't understand. Because every other company is so good at like re-releasing remasters, remakes of like people like those. Like Sonic CD is like the game I played as a kid like endlessly. Why are we getting 1,000 remakes, remasters of that game? I just don't understand Sega's like business model. They kind of suck at this kind of like future proofing all their games like every other company is doing.
It's truly crazy to me that like if you were going into this knowing, okay, we're not going to give the fans Sonic Adventure 3, and we're not going to give them remakes or remasters of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I would be like, okay, let's dump all we can into putting as many of the old Sonic games onto that Origins collection. Let's make that thing meaty to make up for it. And the fact that they can't even do that, I honestly, I truly don't feel like they care.
They don't.
I feel like the Origins collection should be the end-all, be-all of Sonic games before Sonic Adventure. Sure. I'm talking not just the Genesis and the CD and the 32X games with Knuckles. I'm talking even the entirety of the freaking Game Gear, because those Game Gear games, they are tiny as hell. I mean, they're not the best. Or you know what? As an added bonus, throw in the Sega Master System version of Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one. That's not a ripoff of the original 16-bit game. That's an entirely new game they had to make to fit onto the Sega Master System. And it's not a bad 8-bit Sonic game. It's different, of course, if you grew up with the 16-bit games, but it's still its own entity, and I think that's really cool. Throw that shit on there, but they might not, and it kind of bums me out.
I sincerely thought like a bare minimum thing would be like just re-releases for the Switch of Sonic Adventure 1, 2, and Sonic Heroes in much the same way as they did the Mario release. I'm like, that would have been easy.
They pump out Call of Duty every year. How do we not get a Sonic game every year? I just don't. It just like it's easy money.
The only way I feel like they could have botched this more is if they said we are doing a remake and it's of Shadow the Hedgehog, guys. Here you go. Happy 30th.
If they did, Sega could have pulled the full Nintendo for the 3D games. They could have put it up at $60. I still would have bought it because it's Sonic Adventure 1, 2, and Sonic Adventure 1.
I heard that too, Ryan.
Wait, what'd you think I said?
$60.
I would have bought it for $60.
Well, this has been a short basement arcade pause menu. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Yeah, thanks for letting us vent about our Sonic disappointments.
Yeah, well, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. You mother trucker.
I mean, I'll just bounce. It's cool.
I see we have an audience behind you.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mama.
All right. Horizon Forbidden West.
Tiny arm. She's on the hill with the anti-monitor.
Hi. I haven't thought about that guy in a while.
That's a
anti-monitor. Horizon Forbidden West had a 14-minute gameplay trailer.
Yeah, so E3 is approaching, so some companies are like, hey, PlayStation's kind of doing its own thing. So this is the sequel to probably one of the best PS4 games. This game looks super sick, you guys, and it's the hypest I've felt for a game in a while, and a game that I know is coming soon. it improves on everything that Horizon did. Because Horizon Zero Dawn is a third-person action adventure game where you're shooting robot dinosaurs. It's a lot like Monster Hunter, where you're setting traps using bow and arrows and like slingshots and all these cool weaponry. It's a post-apocalyptic game, so it takes place after the apocalypse has happened and the world is reforming with nature. This game, they're going to San Francisco, so it's a lot more beach heavy. There's a boss fight with an elephant that looks like the most exciting thing I've ever seen in a video game. It just looks so sick, and like you're avoiding like these giant like tusk attacks, and like all the weaponry is so cool. It's on PS5 now, so it looks just beautiful. My one thing, this game is coming to PS4, which means it was hampered. This game wasn't fully created to use the PS5's power, which means it's still going to be limited in some ways. That being the climbing. The climbing is still not Breath of the Wild. It's just, hey, this is where you can go to climb, which is fine. You know, it's not making the 100% progress I expected for the PS5. Sure. That being said, it still looks insanely fun, insanely beautiful. You can now do underwater shit. This looks like the leap that you need. Just not the one that I'd want, but it looks great.
I had a quick question. Did you play any Mass Effect this week?
I did not.
Just was curious how you were liking that.
Oh no, I did play like last week. I played the first hour. That's a game that I played 100 times, so like I know it's good. I'll get back to it.
Yeah, this definitely is like bumping the original Horizon up my need to play soon list. I have other priorities still, but I really do want to dive. I've been wanting to dive into that, and this is not making it any less appealing.
Well,
really great.
Don't worry, it still doesn't have a release date, which means it's coming next year. So
yep, I've got time. I've got some time.
Fun fact, Breath of the Wild, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Horizon Zero Dawn came out in the same month, and Horizon got trashed. Not in terms of critical response, people love it, but in terms of sales, it took a while for that game to get hyped because Breath of the Wild was like the greatest game ever made.
I suspect this one's going to do a lot better, especially with them having provided it for free during the quarantine to PlayStation subscribers. So
they have to avoid the same release date again because no one knows when both those games are coming out.
Yeah, Horizon is, it was on my PS4, but I had to get some space for that, the latest freaking Fortnite download. But Horizon, because when I heard about Horizon Complete Edition for free, I had to jump on it.
An external, Ben.
I know. Anyway, but yeah, I told myself once I beat Nier Automata, I'm gonna go play Horizon because I'm not gonna start Horizon because I know if I start Horizon, I'm gonna get into this loop of I'm never gonna finish it. But
what define beating Nier?
Going through all 3 routes at least once. Maybe not getting all 26 endings, but at least not just being a 2D story. I'm talking about going through the whole thing
Ben,
once.
You'll be surprised how quickly and how bad you want to do 26 endings once you get to it.
Yeah,
because it's something you're like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one.
I will be right back.
Okay. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, the hype for that game, I've heard nothing but amazing things about Horizon. So it's like, I got to play it. And also, I'm glad to have time. I'm glad to have time until Forbidden West comes out. Also, another thing I did this week, I put myself into a raffle to win a PS5. So fingers crossed I win that raffle.
Good luck.
It was $25 a ticket. I figured if I can win this PS5 for $50, then hell yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, may the odds be ever in my favor, please.
Mm-hmm. All right. Far Cry 6, do you want to talk about that?
No. Actually, sure, I'll talk about negatively real quick. Far Cry
Let's just kick it real quick.
Is this Giancarlo Esposito?
Yes, he's not the first famous person to be in any of these games, but he is currently the most famous person. Far Cry loves to do this thing where it presents itself as a real gritty, like this is an important story. And then it turns out it's not. And it's like kind of fake. And it's just about a bunch of shooting people and having fun, which is what those games are. That's fine. But like with Far Cry 5, they went to Montana and they went to like this cult that's like super white supremacist and all this stuff. And like the trailer was we're taking this very seriously. And then the game was not that whatsoever. And they're very much doing the same thing here. They're talking about Cuban resistance fighters dealing with the government. But the director of the game said, we wanted to tell a political story without being political. You can't do that. You just can't do that. And I'm tired of these game companies being like shitty and like fake when they're trying to present a real story just to get the money. And then it turns out, I'm just here like blowing bears up with grenades because that's what those games are. Like, I am excited for this game. That those games are great open world sandbox games to play, but like their fake marketing is starting to piss me off because they've been doing it for years. And it's just you're not fooling anyone, especially after the last game you bungled it so hard. So looks cool. Carlos Esposito is really cool. The story is going to be maybe whatever.
A political game that's not political. That's the biggest oxymoron I've ever heard.
Isn't that also the one coming out about the soldiers?
No, there's 6 Days in Fallujah. Yeah, we want to tell the story with real background stuff, but not really though. Yeah. Video game companies suck sometimes, guys.
Do you want to talk about Dying Light 2? Had a video game trailer.
Dying Light 2 has been in development for like 7 years, and it got canceled, and then they got relaunched. The first one's a really good parkour zombie game. I'll play it when it comes out eventually.
Yeah. And then Ratchet and Clank had a new story trailer ripped apart. This is Zim, Invader Zim himself, telling you a bit about the story of the game.
Yeah, man, that game comes out very soon. I can't believe it. Next month, man. Yeah. I'm gonna play it. Super stoked.
Man, I gotta get that PlayStation.
After the podcast, I will show you guys what I did to make it easier to get PlayStation 5s. Because if you just like try this, I'm gonna go to try BestBuy.com right now, it's not gonna work. I'll show you.
I followed 2 trackers.
There you go. That's what it is.
Okay.
I haven't followed the tracker yet because I need to save some money because stuff is coming up in the later months. But eventually,
I got close ones.
Yeah. It's
all right. Hey, look, the game looks great. I'm really excited for it. Right.
Yeah.
X-Men news. If you remember the Reign of X poster that came out that CB Cebulski put out, we heard about the trial of Magneto. We heard about something else that Jonathan Hickman was doing because Jerry Duggan was taking over X-Men. Well, it was revealed this week that Jonathan Hickman's new X title will be called Inferno.
Okay, so this is incredibly spicy, not just because it's involving hot stuff and infernos. If you guys are reading the X-Men comic, you know that on the beautiful nation of Krakoa, there are no precogs allowed, people who can tell the future, because there's a certain someone named Moira who doesn't want people to know about the future because it would ruin all of her plans. Mystique's wife, Destiny, is one of these precogs, and she is not allowed to return back to life like every other mutant on the planet. And Mystique's real mad about it. So she's going to maybe cause an inferno and burn that mother effer to the ground. And I'm so excited.
This could be the launch to the Fall of X.
It might be, yeah.
No, I was, yeah. This is one thing I love about these X books is that they all come full circle. Because I remember reading that issue of X-Men, which with I forgot what number it was or what issue it was, but it was the one with Mystique on the cover, and she's screaming at Magneto and Charles to bring Destiny back. And of course, they keep giving her these BS excuses. You get that flashback. I was like, hey, if they can't bring me back, burn everything to the ground.
Oh, I love it.
I forgot about the flashback.
Yeah. There's that flashback where she's like, burn it all. I'm like, God damn it, Jonathan Hickman. You good sir.
Exactly.
I mean, I am bummed that he doesn't do cons because I just want to go up to him and just shake his hand and be like, you good sir.
His line would be never ending.
So one of my things is with this, I'm very excited for anything that would be X-Men. Hi, Sparks.
Hey.
Talking about Inferno, Jonathan Hickman's new X-Men book.
Sorry.
Okay. So if we are entering the Fall of X soon, I'm not going to say like next month we're there. I'm saying like if we are entering that soon, I kind of wish we got more miniseries and one-shots based around just characters and mutants on Krakoa, because I would have liked to have seen more kind of branch out. Now, I don't know if we are going into the Fall of X, so that might not be the case.
So he did say it was like a 5-year plan, and we're approaching halfway there, right? So I would assume, because we still got Planet-Size X-Men, we have all the relaunches happening. So like, I don't think we're necessarily at the fall where like he's leaving the books, but I do think we're at the halfway point where bad stuff is going to happen. So we're like, in terms of story, we're at like the climax part where before it goes down.
Right.
And this is the initial. I think Mystique's going to be the one to initialize the fall, but I don't think it's going to be as quickly over as any of us want.
And if that is the case, then I'm happy for more X-Men no matter what. But I do hope that they start putting like, maybe one of the X-Men in the background gets a one-shot, or maybe we get an anthology on Krakoa. Like I would like more to flesh out Krakoa.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in a similar boat to you, Brandon. I've been thinking about this a bit lately, because I think like the X-Men line right now has proven such a success, and not just for like its sales numbers, but for collaboration in connective storytelling. I find it hard to believe that even when Hickman's plan is done, that they haven't discussed, at least other writers within the writer's room of the X world right now, what post that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope we still do see that kind of collaboration. Maybe it's not as many titles, but there's still a vibrant X-Men future that comes after this. So I'm hoping that even if those things don't happen necessarily before the fall of X, that we're steering down that future, you know? Like I'm not convinced that at this moment, I'd kind of like to believe that the fall of X doesn't mean we lose Krakoa as a place necessarily. Maybe it's not what it is to the world right now, but like as an opportunity for a home for mutants, for a place as a launching base for new stories, post Hickman's plan, because there's a lot of talented writers that he's pulled together in that place who could spearhead that future.
Also, other writers who can just jump more in, like an Al Ewing.
Right. Yeah. I'm fully on board with you, and I'm optimistic that this has done well enough that they are discussing like what is the future after Hickman's done. How can we keep the momentum going? Where do we take them next? And I think there's a lot of people involved that will have ideas of what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that even if something gets underserved right now, we're still looking at a really bright future of where those things can come around.
Yeah, I've always kind of reading the Reign of X specifically. I didn't feel this about the Dawn of X, but reading the Reign of X kind of feels like everyone's buying time until the next event. And and if that's the case, if you want all your titles to kind of be like constantly doing the big things, I would like one shots, maybe a 4-issue mini dealing with the small stuff.
Mm-hmm. We did get initially. We got all those. What are they called? Were they just giant size X-Men of like Storm? So like maybe we'll get like another round of those when like the relaunch happens.
We're on the cusp of Planet Size X-Men coming out too.
Yeah,
but that's the launch for the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah. Right, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, I think that, you know, we're still going to be looking down at a few of those. It just feels so wide open that I don't think anything's necessarily off the table yet.
So a lot of those giant size books that we read, like the Phantom X one, the Storm one, like they're all like there were a lot of setup books, and like a lot of those setup stuff we haven't seen anything for. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get like another line, like once X-Men #1 relaunches and Polaris is on the team and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like another giant size Polaris or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd really like to see that.
Yeah.
The CW was in the news this week.
Oh Lord, was it?
For good and ill.
Oh boy,
was it?
Yeah.
The Flash announced that season 8 will start with a 5-part Arrowverse crossover, but will not be a traditional crossover. Will in fact just be characters from the other shows pop in and out of the first 5 episodes.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's I kind of missed this. This was a little unexpected. Black Lightning ended this week, everybody. And I guess Chris Williams was already doing the rounds. We did learn from Salim Akil that he had 1 to 2 more seasons planned for Black Lightning before it was capped off at the knees, which is a bummer. Chris Williams has said that he hopes that there's still opportunity for him to appear in the Arrowverse as Black Lightning. Right, but I mean, what does that mean anymore? Yeah. It is kind of up in question, and also Peacemaker, is that no. The
John Cena?
No, sorry, not Peacemaker.
The spinoff.
The spinoff Painkiller. Thank you. Painkiller wasn't picked up by the CW, so that's not moving forward. So the Black Lightning world is over, essentially, unless it shows up in other Arrowverse properties, which is a big bummer. I don't know what to think from a Flash Arrowverse thing right now. I don't know. It's weird. They're in a weird place. The pandemic didn't help, but they're in a weird place.
Season 8 very well might maybe their final season.
I think there's a very good chance that that's true.
Yo, man, just make Superman and Lois the flagship show. Just do it.
I mean, in the hypothetical that Flash ends at season 8, you've only got Legends, Batwoman, Superman, and Lois left.
Oh my God.
That's it.
And Naomi, which was picked up for a season.
and Naomi coming in, but I meant of what's out right now, because Supergirl will be ending this year. Flash probably the next season is the last.
And Stargirl is set on a different Earth.
Right.
Oh, I forgot. Star Couple was even a show.
Stargirl's just as disconnected as Doom Patrol. So
yeah.
But yeah, as I said, Naomi was received a series order, so it is going to series.
Do we know that's actually part of the Arrowverse?
Believe that's what they said,
or that it's just on the CW like Stargirl.
I think they said Arrowverse.
Okay, I don't know. So
she's definitely. I mean, I haven't read any of her stuff, which will change before the show comes up. But she's very interconnected into the DC universe.
I definitely I don't want to do it today because this is not about this, but I definitely want to do a discussion about like where does the Arrowverse even hold value on television right now?
It's
like I want to do our superhero
universe.
television topic that we've kind of discussed doing, but like the pandemic really like the coupling of like having to do the aftermath of Crisis on Infinite Earths and then the pandemic and a bunch of these shows getting canned has put them in a place where I'm like, I don't even know if the connected stuff is worth it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's hardly valuable unless you have like a specific story reason to bring a character over.
Yeah.
Because like I can't imagine that there are that many people who are going forward going to continue keeping up, like the general populace keep up with all the shows. They're going to just select their ones that they like.
Write that down and we'll do it as a topic.
I will say, like, much like comic books, like I love when just characters just show up in other comics. Like it just, hey, what's up? So like I'm so far behind, but like if I'm watching Superman and then it's like the Flash shows up for like 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, nice. Like I wouldn't mind that. I'd like that. That happens all the time.
I think there's like a nice like opportunity for still like, you know, like Chris Williams is saying, I want to show up on Arrowverse shows still. I still think that's really nice for people who are like connected to the character or anything. But I feel like at this point they have to make it something where it really feels relevant and it's not just, you know, this person from that other show. Mm-hmm. Now they're here. Yeah. Do. Like it feels like it has to have some kind of motivation to really make it sing at this point, or these things kind of become okay, cool. Why?
Yeah.
So the biggest news to come out of the CW was that Powerpuff, the sequel to the Powerpuff Girls series, is reshooting its pilot.
Not sequel.
What is it then?
Well, in the script that leaked, that cartoon, the original cartoon, was branding created by the professor to merchandise the girls.
Look, I read some of that script. I didn't read that.
Yeah, and they like made a whole thing where they complained about how they were whitewashed for the cartoon.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just make the cartoon canon. Who cares?
That's what I thought it was. I think we all assumed that's what it was.
Too. Yeah. Oh, I did too until I read the script.
So the shooting script, I should say supposedly, even though CW accidentally made it very real.
It copyright slammed it.
Yep. Which means anyway.
Come on and slam.
The Powerpuff series on the CW was not picked up. Instead, they decided to go and refilm a new pilot, which means a new script. So the script that was floating around was the script that they shot, and I can definitely tell why they were like, maybe not.
Yeah, sometimes the CW, you know, it transcends what it is, and you have something like a Superman and Lois, and like, oh wow, this is great, and then you get something that's like, Joe's son was murdered or something, and then we're doing this.
Mojo is a human who has a son named Jojo, and
that's
Mojo
right.
was murdered.
There you go.
Jojo wants revenge.
Blossom killed Mojo,
and now like Jojo has a pet monkey, and it's like reverse racism or something weird. Like, you know what? Let's just baby's for the best.
I'm glad that the CW itself was like, let's rethink this, guys.
Let's try again.
Yeah.
This was the worst case scenario for me. I know Sparks mentioned this was a very real possibility, which I agreed with, but I kind of always hoped that we'd get something better, something more along the lines of a Black Lightning or Superman and Lois.
Especially with Diablo Cody, who has written Juno and Jennifer's Body and like stuff like she's a very capable, like edgy writer. So like it makes sense that she'd write this, but I didn't think it would go like this far, like this insane.
There's a scene. Sorry, so go ahead, Sparks.
Yeah, go ahead. No, please.
I was gonna say there's a scene in it that I read, which was Buttercup goes up to knock on Bubbles' door, and Bubbles is sleeping with another woman, and then it's like
it's Blossom knocking on Buttercup's door.
Buttercup's door, yes. Sorry, getting them all
Buttercup is supposed to be bisexual in this script, which is cool, but the way that they're handling bisexuality is for her to have multiple different partners and be lying to all of them about sleeping with other people.
Oh, so she's just a bad person.
The scene is just like she turns to the girl and she's like, "Are we done?" And the girl's like, "I guess so." And she's like, "Okay." And that's the scene. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Character development.
This is the shooting script that came out is like the worst possible scenario of what I was afraid of. It's
worse than Riverdale.
It's things like bisexual representation totally mishandled. It's things like none of the villains are anything but that all the villains are explained to be like in the cartoon that is modeled after their lives just to brand them. All of the villains are exaggerated cartoon people, but they're all human beings. They're all normal dudes. The most lame pedestrian version of what it could possibly be. The professor is an emotionally abusive dad.
Donald Faison, no.
I can't.
How dare they do that to Utonium?
It's bad. It's also weird that like that part that I'm referring to where they talk about the cartoon and Blossom's like, I even let go that you let them whitewash us and that wasn't an issue. And I'm like, why would that happen? The professor's black now in your show and he just let himself be whitewashed? That doesn't make any sense. But that's what the script has. And I'm like,
just make it canon.
It's really it's
all you got to do is open the show with Last Time on the Powerpuff Girls, and it's just we see the animation, but with their ethnicities.
Yeah, I'm glad they're going back to the drawing board because this is absolutely not the show I wanted. If that script is indeed accurate, which it very much seems that it is, nope, not what I wanted at all.
Hopefully, the next attempt is better. Ben, I know you've been trying to say something.
Dove Cameron's Instagram, by the way, also hints at before this happened was hinting at issues with her characters in the script. Very, very subtle stuff, but she posts the way Dove Cameron posts lately on Instagram is she posts like multiple pictures from her day, and sometimes those are text messages, and the text message was her like talking about a real drain on the work she was doing, and then the picture right after was a picture of Bubbles from the cartoon. And so everyone's like
putting two and two together.
Ben?
Yeah, so everything I've heard about, because I haven't read the script, but I've heard people like mention it, and everything about that script I absolutely hate, I despise, because I grew up watching the Powerpuff Girls, and I said like when it says like the one line that just got me is like, oh man, this is just okay, guy, damn, you don't read that loud. Plain. It's like
sorry, Ben.
Do you ever see Community Season 5 has an end tag where Ian Duncan is on the phone and he's like for Cerulean +3. Okay, and he presses 3 and it's like do you want level 1, 2 of those? What level are you? Top. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Wait, no, I changed my mind. Plane just flies right over them. And he's just
anyways, all the stuff like the second that they say Utonium is an abusive dad who was branding the girls out, I'm like, that's not Utonium. No, I hate that. I don't know if it's just me remembering what I watched from the show is like he's a loving father. He dotes on the girls. He's like, hey, I'm trying to make them into better people. But just the fact that they're like, oh yeah, I've been using him for money. It's like, no.
So
and all the stuff that Spark was saying about this, because looking more at the script, is like, yeah, get that crap out of here. No.
Well, that's the crappy thing about doing something like that, where you say, well, the cartoon is a brand move, and that's what the cartoon is in the world of the show, is because you hand wash yourself of having to do anything that is true to the original interpretation. And you get to say, well, all that is bullshit in our version, and I'm like, cool. Why?
So like when the show was first announced, we were all on board because it's like, okay, it's a Powerpuff Girls. They're grown up. They're adults dealing with their trauma as like young children warriors. Like that sounds like X-Men. That sounds cool to me. I like that idea. But then you just do all like the bad CW stuff. I'm like, oh, actually, Utonium was like a bad dad, and all of them are just like drugged up and sad. They're just having sex with them. And I'm like, that's not the lessons that I wanted to learn. Like I was expecting to go on emotional journey, but like not like a bad like this is CW.
There's a way to make the idea that the show is a brand move work. For example, in Voltron Legendary Defenders, the human race makes a TV series based off Voltron, and it's the old anime.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's how humans write what we've been doing in space, and that was really respectful because it was like it's an acknowledgement to the original show. This was just kind of like a
yeah.
And for me, like I said it before when they announced it, like the big thing to me, half of what's cool about the Powerpuff Girls are the villains. If you are just going to make the villains the most lame, passive, pedestrian version of themselves, I'm not here for it. And like I like you want to humanize and just make like a bad dude Mojo Jojo. I don't care. Like, man, I'd rather you just not do Mojo Jojo than turn him into like a regular dude.
You know what? Mojo Jojo is not even a bad guy.
He's a bad monkey.
No,
because his real plan is that he just wants the girls out of the way so he can save the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
No, but also like Mojo Jojo was Utonium's first creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's like if Blossom kills Mojo Jojo, what's that? That could do some harm to like Utonium too.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Yeah. Ben, you were saying something.
They were probably gonna just put him in a hey Suki. They're probably just gonna put him in some lame costume, and I wanted something bombastic. I wanted the claw hands. I wanted something like Lil Nas X would wear.
Oh my god! Can you imagine if they went forward with him?
So
I want some bombastic, crazy shit with him. And if they're putting Mojo Jojo just like from a monkey to a dude in a suit, I'm like, no, I want
the same network. The same network has Gorilla Grodd fighting a king shark.
Yeah.
It's not like the CW cannot do monkeys or gorillas. They obviously they don't have the biggest budget, but it's not like they're incapable of doing it. Like this is the last thing I'll say about the Powerpuff Girls, because we've talked about this for a long time. Like they're just doing like the lamest version of like a really cool idea. Like they have potential to do something really cool, and they're just like, what if we just make it gross and lame?
In that script, if I recall correctly, they reference an interaction with the Rowdy Rough Boys.
I love them.
And that they just slept with them.
I don't love that.
I don't love that either. No.
Parks, I want you to know that as you said that, my soul left my body.
If I recall correctly, that does happen, and I'm like, well, that's pretty much.
I don't know if you guys saw it. My soul just went.
There's also like one specific line where like they refer to like Bubbles wanting to make like market a comeback film for the Powerpuff Girls, and she's like, it'll be like Bubbles is back, and then Buttercup says, well, everyone's already seen your other film, Bubbles on her back, and I'm like, cool. That's great.
That's what I like to think of, the nicest, most wholesome character doing a sex tape. Fantastic.
I hate everything that you just said.
Yeah, so here's hoping that whatever they're going to do will be better, because whatever this version was sounded like hot, stinky garbage.
I think even when Suki came in a few minutes ago and she was meowing because she's like, that's bullshit.
That's what
he has never seen the Powerpuff Girls.
That's crazy. What a crazy thing that they thought they could do. Crazy. I know, Brandon. It's a lot to think about.
I can't process this.
We got to move on.
The good thing is the CW said, no, let's try again.
Oh my god! I hope like that failed Wonder Woman pilot that I've watched and it's terrible. In like a year, we'll be able to see how horrible this thing actually is.
God. Maybe Pedro Pascal's in that.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
for a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
MGM made some news this week. We're getting off that.
Muggum.
MGM, as many of you may know, has been struggling a lot since the recession in 2008. They lost their studio. They have had a very hard time. Bond has been co-produced by every studio under the sun because they can't afford it anymore. But they are the rights holder to Bond, which is their most profitable franchise. Probably their only franchise at this point. But that seems to change. Amazon has made a bid to buy MGM for $9 billion.
So that's insane, because that's like double what Marvel and Star Wars was. And they're doing it like just for James Bond, basically. That's insane.
Does anyone else think that's a little too high of a price tag for MGM?
Well,
not
interestingly,
isn't a good studio, but that price tag seems really high.
They initially wanted to sell their company, so because they've been struggling so much, they put themselves up for sale about 5 years ago for $4 billion, and nobody bid. So now Amazon has made a bid for almost twice that,
They got the money.
Well, twice that. So that's really cool. And I think this is a win because MGM gets to kind of get back on top.
I think it's a few things. It's Amazon wanting to put out a bid that no one else will really want to compete with, and make it clear that they're serious. The other reason why it's worth it is because it's not just about the future of MGM. They get everything in MGM's back catalog that can go to Amazon now. That's a big get.
It's a lot of movies.
It's a lot of classic films.
Yeah, MGM, as I've said, I don't know if I've said before, but MGM was the Disney of its time.
It was. Oh, but it's not just a lot of classic films. It's also a lot of classic cartoons. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Tom and Jerry an MGM cartoon?
They sold that on to Warner's.
Oh, yep.
MGM sectioned off those things. They don't have certain things anymore. But you are correct. Tom and Jerry did used to be with MGM. You're right.
So this is awesome because obviously we get one James Bond movie every 10 years or whatever it is. That's a joke. It's like every 5 years or whatever. We get a lot of James Bond comic books, but like this is the first time since its inception that like we could potentially see a new James Bond thing that's not just another movie. And for me, that's very exciting because if you're telling me, oh, instead of waiting every couple years to get like a movie, I can get like a 007 TV show potentially in the future and like do something drastically different, make it a period piece in the 60s or something like this. Just like, again, I think this is a win. I don't need Amazon owning every corporation, but when MGM is just like not doing anything with one of the coolest franchises in movies, like get somebody to do something with it.
I think this is a better place for MGM to go than pretty much any other at this moment. Like I think anyone else, it would make them, gotcha, Meg. Yeah, droopy. This is a better way for things to go than it going to like not Disney but like Warner's or Universal. I think that this is a good home for it. I think that this will allow MGM to maybe blossom again a little. Certainly it's going to open the door to a lot of James Bond products that hopefully will be willing to bring James Bond, either do period piece James Bond things or bring James Bond into the modern era and change things up, and it's not going to be a white dude anymore.
I think James Bond is in desperation for some revitalization in some way. I do wonder how the Broccoli family is going to deal with that because they own James Bond.
So I did read an article, and I don't know how true it is, but like they were saying it doesn't matter who owns MGM, the Broccoli still own full like rights to James Bond. Yeah. And I don't know how true that is, like, because this big deal with $9 billion happened. I'd like to assume the Broccolis were like, can I have some of that money? Like, that makes sense, right?
I'm sure that they'll probably follow MGM to Amazon.
Yeah.
I would hope so, but I do believe, yes, they have the ability to remove it.
I have to imagine that like the Broccolis were involved in some way. Cause like, again, like MGM is a mostly like kind of old company except for James Bond. Mm-hmm. So you'd like to think that like they were involved so they can actually get stuff made.
Amazon can afford to buy the Broccolis.
They can afford all the broccoli.
And so James Bond's back catalog is going to go to Amazon, which is, now awesome. It's going to be somewhere, which it hasn't been.
Except for Never Say Never Again.
I won't.
Because that's a funny story. And also I'll tell now. It's Thunderball. It's a remake of Thunderball. The writer has the rights to just that one book. So he just tries to make it every 20 years.
That's great. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I also wanted to say that MGM owns my favorite franchise, which is Stargate.
Oh.
So this could potentially mean that I get more Stargate.
Oh, absolutely, Brandon. That's awesome. Amazon will 100% make us a new Stargate show. 100%.
Yeah, Stargate's back on the table.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's back on the menu, boys!
So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome.
Okay, let's move on. Trailers. Beanie beanie. The Evil Next Door.
Danish? Swedish?
I don't know. I watched this in subtitle. I watched this subtitle that was like
Swedish. Yeah.
I didn't know this wasn't English until I actually watched it, which was today.
I've seen this movie.
I'll tell you what. I have seen. I think it looks good, but it is not doing anything that I haven't seen before. But I do think like it looks spooky, and it's from another country, and like I don't get to see too many.
I will say like I feel like the only thing that's making me appeal to it is that it's not in English.
Yeah, honestly, that's what they're.
I'm like, okay,
yeah.
But past that, I'm like, if this was in English, I don't think I'd give a shit.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Old, M. Night Shyamalan's new movie based on a comic.
I kind of like the premise of this a lot. You go to a beach, the beach ages people. It's like
it doesn't age people, it ages children.
It ages children. You're right.
And dead bodies. Apparently, it's weird.
But the
older gentleman, she says you're getting wrinkles. One of the adults already.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
You go to this beach, you age.
The kids just age faster.
There you go. That's what it is.
And get pregnant.
So if you guys remember that's weird. If you remember, this had a 30-second Super Bowl spot, and it was very odd. People people say this movie's awesome. And I think they knew this movie's awesome. That's why they put it in the Super Bowl spot. I think this trailer is really awesome. I hope it didn't explain too much, but there's like a weird mystery. I think it looks really cool. I like the actors in it. Like I'm back on board the Shyamalan train.
Well, with Shyamalan, there's gonna be some crazy ass twist at the end. It's gonna change the entire course of the film on a rewatch. So
I don't think that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, he hasn't done those
for a while.
Yeah,
I think that I think he knew that became his shtick because that hasn't been like Split, Glass. They don't really have twists. I guess the twist of Split is that it's in the same world as Unbreakable. Like that's the twist. But that's not his marketing thing anymore. So I don't think that means there's a twist to this.
But honestly, it reminded me of something more of like a Lost. Like they don't know what's going on. Like they're discovering weird things as they go along. It's not going to last 7 seasons, and hopefully I'll like the ending. So
yeah, I'm intrigued. I am nervous about execution.
Sure. Yeah.
The Tomorrow War, Chris Pratt's new action movie.
I just don't know how to feel about this one, you guys.
Neither do I.
I'm intrigued by the idea, but I am nervous about execution.
100%. Because I love the idea. I love the idea. People from the future are like, all right, cool. We need to draft everyone or else you're all going to die in the future. I think that idea is awesome. I'm over Chris Pratt. 2, he doesn't look like he's doing anything new. The monsters look kind of just like big generic monsters. There's a movie, remember The Wall with Matt Damon?
Yeah.
It had the same trailer thing where just hundreds of thousands of monsters are running over stuff, and I'm like, oh, CGI is cool, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the trailer, honestly. I didn't say, but I truthfully wasn't too crazy about what I saw with Old. But I did like this one. It was kind of fun, but like it just kind of looks like a generic action movie. Like it wants to be Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes,
but it's not.
I think the premise
feels
cool.
like barely a notch above sci-fi.
Yeah, it's the premise is cool, but the execution is kind of like generic.
Yeah,
I got a lot of Skyline vibes.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
This does look like this. This is going to Prime, but it was supposed to be a theatrical release film. Amazon bought it through the pandemic, and it looks kind of like a Netflix original.
Yeah.
So
I would even argue like maybe a little worse.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like not sure if it's just not a trailer that's selling me. The idea is, but the trailer isn't.
Yeah.
Or if it's just that the movie's not selling me.
Why not both?
Right.
Infinite.
Talk about trailers for movies going straight to streaming services that I don't care about.
Yeah,
there's only like one thing that really grabbed me about this, and it's that dude gets in a truck and chases them real quick.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, Chiwetel? Yeah.
It kind of made me laugh. I'm like, he got in that real quick, and they're just going, and I'm like, that's pretty funny.
There's like an entire minute that they cut from that sequence when he gets in the car. Yeah. That was Chiwetel for, right? This is the trailer. Okay. Yes. I am so over Mark Wahlberg, you guys. It's not even funny. Like he has to like really be like different and good, and he just doesn't do that anymore. So
yeah, I'm in the same place.
It's like he's like an immortal soldier. Like it reminds me of the Old Guard, but not as good. That's
I was gonna say this looks like sad Old Guard.
Yeah, Marky Mark Old Guard. No thanks. Yeah. Ben, you got anything for this hot?
For Infinite, I'm just like whatever.
You have to know what you've been to know what you can become. I don't care.
I mean, like, it's like you are infinite. It's like you're constantly dying and coming back to life. It's like, but none of the trailers or nothing in the trailers like grabbed me. It's like, hey, look, it's Mark Wahlberg again, and then he's.
I'm definitely at the point in my life where if you're doing like big blockbuster style films, featuring main white dude protagonists who aren't doing a lot with the role anymore that's different from anything they've done before, you better like really do something with them, or I do not give a shit.
There's the point in the trailer where like Mark's sitting down at the chair and he's like, "Do you know who you are?" or whatever, and Mark's just like, and I'm like, "Oh, cool, he's one of those. He's just one of those traditional, typical action guys. No, thank you."
Here comes Uncharted.
No, thank you.
Yeah, Uncharted.
I saw the picture from Uncharted that came out this week, and I was like, boy, that's sad.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like Sully at all.
And you know what's gonna suck is he's gonna have a mustache and like a flashback scene for a minute, and then he's gonna shave it, and then that's just the rest of the movie.
No, it's the post-credit scene, baby. He'll have grown it for the post-credits.
I want to talk to you about the PlayStation All-Stars
initiative.
It's
Kratos in a suit.
Just Kratos comes out of the sea like.
All right. Werewolves Wolverine Within, mother effer. Werewolves Within had a new trailer.
Yo,
this was my favorite trailer.
Happy.
This was my favorite trailer of the week. Like, we love college humor, Sparks Witty. I know Josh Rubin has directed another movie that you like that was on Shudder.
Scare Me.
I love this cast. This has a guy who's in another trailer that we watched. He's in 2 trailers this week. I'm good for that guy. Yeah, this looks really funny, and it's just like it's like one of those board games that you love to play, like Werewolf or what's called like Deception, Mafia. Like, who's the bad guy? But it's live action based off a Ubisoft game.
I think this looks the right amount of fun and quality werewolf atmosphere. I really love when everyone's like, "What did he say?" Lycanthrope, like werewolf. It's a werewolf. Yeah.
Guys,
I think it's got a good cast. It's got good humor going for it.
Squirrel Girl is in this.
Yes. The
AT&T lady.
Yes.
Yeah. I just love the scene where he's like, "Okay, I gotta ask, who's packing?" Everyone just takes out a gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Okay, we're gonna have a big old fashioned sleepover, but with guns. Yes."
This might be the best video game movie ever made.
Board game movie.
Board game.
Well, but it's also technically a video game.
No, it is because
they made a video game off the card game called Werewolves Within.
When this comes out, I want to remind you, we've all agreed that we're going to do an episode on board game movies.
There's not as many as video games, unfortunately.
But still just as fun.
So Clue, Battleship.
And then this one, Werewolves Within.
Is that it?
That's it?
I'm surprised Risk has never been made.
Yeah. Ridley Scott's Monopoly movie that never got made. That could have been a bit humdinger.
I could have swore I read somewhere that Seth Rogen was making a Trivial Pursuit movie.
There's a few in development, like that Uno one and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, Werewolves Within looks great. I'm real excited to watch it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm looking forward to that one.
Jumanji doesn't count. Was Jumanji a board game before or after the movie?
After the book.
After the book
first.
Doesn't count then.
Nope.
All right. Jungle Cruise.
I want to watch this movie.
Me too.
I got super heavy, like Mummy, Pirates of the Caribbean, like good adventure vibes. And like we've seen trailers before, but they showed a lot more new stuff in this trailer that I didn't know was in the movie. This movie looks expensive.
It does.
Like, wow, this movie better be successful or we're gonna bomb. Like, oh my god.
The chemistry between Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson is what everyone's coming for, and I'm excited for it.
And the guy who directed this is directing Black Adam, so big bomb.
Jesse Plemons is in this.
Yes, he is.
He's a Nazi bad guy. He's a Nazi bad guy.
What does he say? Shoot it or whatever.
Shoot the law.
Shoot the law.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, I'm super in. I'm a huge fan of this type of adventure movie. I'm so glad we're getting something like this.
Yeah, me too. I got a lot of vibes like from Pirates of the Caribbean and just adventure movies. It's like, man, we haven't had a good adventure movie. I was on watching. It's like, this kind of reminds me of The Mummy a little bit.
There are still some great comedy bits between Johnson and Blunt that haven't been in any of the trailers you guys have seen that they showed at D23, and I hope are still in the film. But they're pretty good. So I'm
man. That was 2
regardless.
years ago.
I think the plot of the movie can suck, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, but watching those two have fun together was great. So whatever. Who gives a crap?
It's called Jungle Cruise. I'm expecting a fun Jungle Cruise.
She just kicks the boat and the engine starts going. He's like, Okay.
Or when they launch over a building.
Yeah, to avoid the torpedo.
Yeah.
So good. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm into it.
Oh yeah.
This is the good part of the trailers, guys. Because then we got Gunpowder Milkshake.
I didn't know what this was, and I watched it, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, Lady Assassins.
I want library assassins.
Yeah.
Me too. This looks awesome. This has Karen Gillan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The girl from My Spy? Spy Me?
Oh yeah. The little girl with Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Oh, My Spy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Rachel Weisz. Rachel Weisz is in this. Lena Headey.
Lena Headey, yeah.
I forgot Michelle.
Angela Bassett.
Pretty Captain
sure.
Giorgio.
I don't know. There's a lot of great people.
Asian
in this
girl.
Movie. Yeah, there's a lot of great people in this movie. Yeah.
It's great.
It's Chloe Coleman is the little girl from My Spy. Michelle Yeoh.
Yep.
Michelle Yeoh, thank you.
Angela Bassett, yes. Rachel Weisz is not in this though.
I don't know who you're talking about.
He's talking about Carla Gugino.
Oh, she's from
Haunting.
Yeah, Haunting of Bly Manor.
That's not the girl from The Mummy?
No, that is not Rachel Weisz.
That's the girl from Spy Kids.
Boy, they look alike.
Yeah. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, the Rhino.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
Yeah, it's like Karen Gillan's like a lady assassin, and then she gets involved in some bad stuff, and like her moms have to help her out and stuff.
I heard about this before the pandemic, and I'm happy it's found a home. I believe it's going to Netflix now.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to watch this. I think this looks cool.
Yeah.
Me too. Last Night in Soho.
Oh, this was my favorite.
Wright,
this is my favorite trailer.
So Edgar Wright's doing a straight up thriller, maybe horror, definitely thriller.
Yeah.
I watched this trailer, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Edgar Wright horror movie. And then I was like, oh, what? What is happening now?
It's very much like Edgar Wright doing a modern grindhouse film that's also tributing old films.
Yeah, there's some Grindhouse and Hitchcock like melding together.
100%. It's Edgar Wright, so I'm not worried. I'm sure it's going to be great.
The little girl from Jojo Rabbit is in this. I really like her. She's the lead, and Anya Taylor-Joy is also her.
Yes. She's also the person singing the song in the trailer.
Yeah,
I think that she's someone from the past who's connecting to the girl.
Oh,
I think so too.
But I don't know.
Matt Smith looking fly.
Matt Smith looking great. I'm so excited for him to be in this movie. That's great.
This movie reminds me of one of my favorite bad people directors movies, Woody Allen, Midnight in Paris, where Owen Wilson goes back in time in Paris every night. I love that movie. And this looks like a spooky version of that. Thank you very much. I'll take it.
Sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for this.
I'm happy for it, and he cut the trailer together really well. Edgar Wright cuts his own trailers. He loves making trailers. He has that one bit where he's using the song, because he's using the song Downtown, and it says, listen to the music of the city, and he cuts out the song to hear the sound of cars going by and honking and things like that. And I'm like, Edgar Wright, darn you, you're so smooth.
There's a shadow creature punching through the wall, which is made of glass.
Yeah.
He more than almost any other film director, like he utilizes music in his movies in such a great way that's not just like here's a pop song. It's like no, it's actually like part of the script and part of the plot.
It's him and James Gunn.
Him and James
Gunn Guardians films. No, it's really funny because when they talked about it, one of them posted about it when he was making Baby Driver. He and James Gunn were talking to each other about what songs they were using in Guardians versus Baby Driver, so that they wouldn't be using the same songs in that year in the film. Cute. Which I think is really funny.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this.
Oh, yeah.
I think they said they had like one overlap they decided to like give to the other one or something like that.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Eternals. We got our first official look at Eternals.
I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm kind of unhyped right now.
Guys, I cannot tell you how I'm so glad that you guys feel that way. I feel like I'm a crazy person right now.
I'm so glad. Oh my God. All of us? Are we all of the same mindset?
Oh my God. On Twitter,
I've been freaking out all week.
Everyone's become an Eternals stan all of a sudden, and I know every single one of you's never read an Eternals comic because they don't have that many comic books.
So I wasn't the only. So I'm just going out because after I saw this trailer, I was like, cool. I mean, I'm gonna go watch it because it's an MCU film, but at the same time, it's like,
of course,
this was kind of underwhelming. Like Shang-Chi, I was like, hell yeah, Shang-Chi.
Remember the Shang-Chi trailer?
Yeah, but then of course they come out with this one, and I'm just like,
okay.
I've avoided saying anything on Twitter. I've avoided saying anything on Twitter about this because I was like, I don't want to, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I saw the wrong trailer.
Mag, Unimind now.
All right, so listen. So Shang-Chi had a great trailer, a teaser. This is a teaser, right? Because it introduces you to the character and it introduces you what the plot is. Okay. This trailer, the Guardians teaser, it introduces you to the characters. You know who they are. You know what's going on. This does not tell me anything about the characters. And also it introduces a plot element that I actively dislike, telling me that you avoided conflict and you avoided helping the Avengers, even during Endgame. You need to tell me why you did that, because in this teaser, I don't buy it. I don't think it's a good reason to stay out of it until some random village gets attacked by people with weird eyeballs.
So I saw this great meme about, it's like that line is like, we never intervened until now. Tony Stark in heaven.
Yeah.
It's like that meme of the guy from the cricket match where he's just like looking at him like all disappointed. Like, really?
I like the one that's just the cut to like, be cool if you did though.
Yeah. And again, like the movie, real quick, Brandon, the movie is going to give us a reason why they did intervene. But for this teaser trailer to tell me, for them to acknowledge, oh, Captain America and Iron Man are dead, we did nothing about it. For me, that actively, I dislike these people because they didn't help when we needed help. So, like, you need to show me why these characters are important, and it did not do any of that. And I know who these characters are. I got an Eternals comic right next to me.
I've been reading a bit of Kieran Gillen's Eternals run currently running.
Yeah,
and I like it. It's all right. Watching this, I was really struggling because I was like, I like how grand it looks, how grand the cinematography looks, but I also kind of wish there was more color.
Here's the thing, like, and this is hyperbole, but it's not that far off.
I do.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I don't think it looks great. I think people are just like so used to the Marvel blandness that like this looks fine. Like, sun shines.
there's some shots, just because we're talking about the look. There's some shots where like it's the people floating in the air, and I'm like, I'm underwhelmed, guys.
You know what it reminded me of? Is that Snyder movie?
Sure. More than anything, the ship that appears at the early part of the trailer, I was like, wow, that's like the most boring design of a ship I could ever imagine.
And I understand.
Just a sideways Pentagon.
Bringing
a giant plank.
Yeah, bringing some like realism or like a little more grounded like costume design. That's fine. Like the MCU, like I'm about that. The Eternals and Jack Kirby, it's the most colorful comic book ever made. This is the wrong comic to do this with.
This is the part where I feel like we should be getting really weird. I shouldn't think that these guys look more plain than the Guardians.
100%.
The thing,
but I do.
That's what I was going to say. It's like so I really like how grand and scope it looks, how big the cinematography is. But
the landscapes are cool, but like past that,
it looks as drab as the Inhumans did. I'm not saying it's going to be as bad as the Inhumans. It's just kind of the drabbiness of it.
Yeah.
When you have a movie like Thor Ragnarok and both of the Guardians movies already kind of doing that Kirby color palette, why not go the distance? You've done it 3 times already. Do it a 4th.
And again, it's because it's Chloe Zhao and she's all about like natural. Like she didn't want to do a lot of CGI until the end, which is going to turn into a big CGI battle because that's what these Marvel's movies do. But like I do appreciate her wanting to tell like a more naturalistic looking story. Like this is like 10,000 years ago. These are like the beginnings of civilization. I'm okay with that. But if you're gonna make a teaser trailer to make me care about all this stuff, you gave me nothing. You gave me just absolutely nothing. And especially the joke at the end. Who's laughing at that joke? Like, who's gonna lead the Avengers? It's me. I don't know who you are. Right. You have to have personality to laugh at a joke.
Literally, the first thing Megan asked me after he said that was like, "Who's that?" And I'm like,
"Yes."
Who? Yeah. Black Knight's in this, right? Kit Harington is Black Knight. Is Black Knight? Is he?
No, he's a regular
to be an Eternal.
No, he's a regular dude. So he's gonna be. It also looks like he's in modern times, which is weird. So he was a dude who was like back in time, and he and Cersei have a relationship. That's not. They might be doing it in this movie, but in this movie, it's Icarus who's the leader of the Eternals and Cersei in a relationship, and you see that them doing it throughout time, like a Cloud Atlas situation. That's a new thing for the movie, which is weird. Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, might be like a love triangle situation, but yeah, he's just like a regular dude who finds the ebony blade, like a cool sword. I'm just this movie is a big old mystery right now because I'm sure it's good. Obviously, like I trust the Marvel method. I'm just like, it's just weird. It's a weird one. I'm
not immediately sold. My first look, unlike every other Marvel property I've ever seen, I'm not immediately excited.
I very much like echo what Ryan said, that like I don't know how you're supposed to connect to these characters. Like, it very much is just selling you on like, guys, it's another Marvel movie, and like we've really reached that point with this one. And I'm like,
look at the famous people.
And I'm like, guys, there's what is on here that I'm supposed to be appealed by? Like, you're not visually engaging me enough, and you're not telling me who a single one of these characters is. Not a one.
Not a one.
I can understand not getting a debrief on all of them, but like I should know at least one person.
You don't even get like names or anything in this. You look at the Guardians first trailer, and it's
their mugshots.
You're right. The Guardians first trailer is such a really great barometer for where kind of we should be with Eternals, because it's kind of the same like vibe that we were probably expecting. Not maybe like Rockstar, but still.
I mean, even that, like,
we got people. We knew who the Guardians were.
Yeah.
I mean, you even just look at the Shang-Chi trailer, and it's like, it's Shang-Chi. He's the son of the Mandarin. And I'm like, cool, got you. I'm here. Yeah. The end. That's all. Like, that's all I needed to know. I get it. I'm there. And I don't know. It has nothing to do, like Ryan said, it has nothing to do even with reading the comics. Like, this trailer just doesn't tell you. It doesn't convey anything, because this is their interpretation, and I don't understand it. Some of the shots, like, it's weird. Like, the ending shot is them all like grouped together in a line, and I'm like,
cool.
Why is this supposed to mean anything to me? This is like, honestly, like you said, Zack Snyder, this felt more like the Jupiter's Legacy trailer to me.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, I guess.
So
whatever.
Like, we know this movie is super big in scope because it's like it's dealing with these aliens. Okay, so also like the Eternals aren't aliens from another like they're cavemen who get experimented on by Celestials. So they're also changing the origin of the Eternals, which again it doesn't.
Well, I mean, they had to because Thanos will still be a deviant.
Yeah, and again, like, yeah, I wonder if Thanos is in this movie. I think they're not. A lot of this trailer is like the beginning of the movie, because so much of this movie is going to be space stuff and like dealing with thousands of years in between. So like we're just not seeing a lot. I think so. Because like there's we didn't see any of the Celestials, we didn't see any Black Knight stuff, we didn't see any of them like building civilization. We saw like
I
hear you, and I'm asking, like, will that be in this movie?
It has to, or else this movie's gonna be boring as hell.
I do think, by the way, you said I do think we see Thanos.
Yeah. There's speculation that they're gonna change up the Eternals and Deviant stuff to have Thena, who's Angelina Jolie, now be Thanos' mother. And I'm like, that would be a cool wrinkle, but that just adds complications for kind of no reason. He can just be a bad.
It kind of ruins it if you're making them from Titan, from the planet Titan that Thanos is from in Infinity War and Endgame, to not being cavemen, I guess.
Yeah. So again, like Kevin Feige has this plan, like they've thought of this for so long. So like, I'm not worried about the execution at the end. I just don't think this, I'm also shocked that people like this trailer so much. Cause like, I just don't know what you're grabbing onto.
I need to see more.
I need to see more. Absolutely. Yeah.
This was just like the coolest shot to me in the whole thing is Kumail Nanjiani doing a Bollywood number. And like past that, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know, guys. Like I like the cast. The cast isn't the issue, but I don't know. I know who they're playing because we've read it before, but I don't know who they are. I don't know what this movie is. It's kind of it bummed me out. It bummed me out, honestly.
It's the first Marvel
trailer ended. I'm like, I don't know.
It's the first Marvel trailer in a really, really, really long time that I didn't connect with. And again, it's like, it has nothing to do with me not knowing the comic book characters. If you give me a good trailer, that makes me want to connect with the characters. And this just like didn't do it.
I didn't know shit about Iron Man when he first had a movie.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. Shall I move into our main topic?
I'm so relieved we were all on the same page. On
I was so scared.
Me too.
Twitter made me think I was crazy.
For
Me
real.
too.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into our main topic. All right, full spoilers for Cruella, the new Disney original movie, prequel to 101 Dalmatians in a way, reimagining of the character of Cruella, played by Emma Stone. Full spoilers, guys. If you don't want to know anything about this movie, or if you want some context about that clip that's online, full spoilers from here on out. You've been warned. Skip ahead, do whatever. I've time coded it for you, rewatchers and audio people. The sun is still out. This is really weird to me.
I love it. I have a whole day ahead of me.
Cruella, what we think about it? I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go to the bathroom.
Dang! I also have to go to the bathroom, so I'm gonna go after you.
Ben, you go first.
I'll go. I had a blast with this movie. I thought it was fun. Right when I was done watching it, I was like, you know what? Of all the live action reimaginings, air quotes, like Maleficent, Cinderella, this one's my favorite. Which is funny because 101 Dalmatians is the one Disney movie I'm fine with. I like it, but that's definitely not one of the classic ones I'll go to.
Yeah.
So as of right now, Cruella is my favorite, and I absolutely loved Emma Stone. I had a blast with this movie. The soundtrack was awesome because it's all great 70s vibes or 70s tracks. And I just had a blast. I just had fun. I was like, man, this is really good. I like how she's still the bad guy, but it's like you're rooting for her, but she's still kind of like a bad guy. I kind of like that. Kind of.
I mean, she steals dogs. That's
she's a criminal.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Okay, so she's a criminal, but she's also like a good guy person. But like, I'm just gonna let bygones be honest. She's like, no, I want to destroy everything about this woman. I'm gonna steal everything from her reputation, her customers, and like maybe not like steal actual money.
She's an eye for an eye.
Yes, it is very much eye for an eye. So I really, really enjoyed this movie.
I will go next. I was shocked how much I liked this movie. While still being a Disney movie with all like the caveats that a Disney movie will have, it goes harder than I expected it to. I really like Emma Stone. I really like the entire cast. I think this is definitely like this movie is going to win the Oscar for best costume design, no doubt. Like this movie looks so good. Like I cannot believe this movie looks so good.
If this doesn't win for best costume design, riot.
It's like the Mad Max Fury Road designer who won an Oscar for that. Like they've done great work in the past. Like again, besides like the Disneyfication of like just how they make movies like with like plot stuff. Like I had a really good time. Like I don't have too many complaints. My biggest complaint is I do agree the music's great. I think there's just too much of it.
I agree. I agree.
Like it's Suicide Squad levels of at one after another, where I'm like I need some space between every song. But otherwise, I had a great time.
So you know what? I will agree with that because you are 100% because there was, especially in the very beginning of the movie, I want to say up until like the 25-30 minute mark, I was honestly like, okay, all the songs I've been listening to, great. There's a lot of them. There's so much.
Because we're on it, I just want to highlight that, like, because that's one of my biggest complaints of the film is that just like there's good needle drops and there's good songs. Like most of them are good songs. They don't all serve a purpose. They're just kind of there a lot of the time, especially as like someone who's watching the editing and stuff. I'm just like, this song just doesn't need to be there, especially when they're only playing it for like 25 seconds just to like get a riff through. There's one particular instance where like they literally just fade the song down to start up the dialogue moment. It's right before Emma Thompson's character does her thing, like where she asks for silence and she reads the review about herself, and the song just like fades down, and I'm like, that's really bad. That song just either should have been handled differently, cut differently, or not been there at all. Like it's just just have score instead. So that bums me out. I don't mind you doing good needle drops, especially great songs like they choose. They just need to have purpose when they're used.
It's wild because this movie cost like $200 million, and most of it went to the costumes and song licensing. They could have saved $50 million, cut half the songs out.
No. Also, I have to get this off. I want to say,
I will. I want to hear your opinion first before I go though.
Yeah.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I hated it. I actually really liked it.
Yeah, me too. We're all
I actually really liked it. I was surprising how much I liked it because I missed the very beginning and I missed a good chunk of the movie because of my audience was horrible. At one point, just 2 people stood in front of me. But I really enjoyed it. I agree. Too much music. Could have cut some of that stuff in half, but I thought it was a lot of fun. I really love what Emma Stone is doing. I like a lot of the changes to the characters. I think they all work really well, create a really nice dynamic of characters. Just really like Emma Stone, honestly. I think she's so good in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked it. That's my initial thoughts. So,
Ben, what was it you wanted to get off your chest?
The best needle drop in my opinion was at the very end when she gets the house and Sympathy for the Devil by the Stones play.
Boy, that was one of my least favorites.
Oh, that was
look, Ben, it's not. I love that song. That song is used so much in movies and TVs to be like, to hit the "please allow me to introduce myself" moment, and I'm like, come on, man, come on, man, be better. I appreciate that you really liked it. For me, I've heard that song used for so many things.
Do you remember?
And I was like, we could have done better.
Viva.
Definitely oversaturation of that song.
Understandable.
Yeah. I feel the way about that you felt about Zombie for Army of the Dead last week.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where I'm like, really?
The guy who plays the heftier one.
Horace.
He's a really good actor. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's great. I thought Horace and Jasper were both great. I'm actually going to run through my thoughts now because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I think the style, the look alone sold me. I knew it would kind of going into it, but honestly, I was there for it. I definitely just think that as they like to call these the live action reimaginings, I love this. This is what I prefer compared to like the Lion King, the Beauty and the Beast, those kind of things. This is that, but different. This is much more in the Maleficent vein, obviously, which I didn't know is what they were doing. I really thought this was more just a prequel to 101 Dalmatians classic. I'm glad that it's just a complete reinterpretation of the story.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, like they're just like the idea of Cruella, but we're doing it totally different. I think that's really well handled.
While keeping the Anita Darling and her going to school together.
Sure, they're characters, but she's not going to come take their puppies.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that's what's up. I think that's a much better route to go. A lot of people are still doing the Joker in this comparison. I had a better time with this than Joker. By far. I mean, obviously, like they're kind of different movies as far as tone, but I think what Emma Stone's bringing to the table as Cruella is really effective. And I think Emma Thompson is great.
Oh yeah.
Part of me. Sorry, Sparks, continue.
No, go ahead.
No, part of me, as I was watching this movie, part of me really, I don't know if this is just like too much of a stretch, but I loved Emma Thompson and Emma Stone. 2 Emmas. That's funny. I loved both Emmas in this movie so much that I really hope at least one of them gets a nom for something. Like, I don't know if Oscar nom is like too far out there, but I'm just like watching, especially Emma Stone as Cruella, because she can go from Cruella to Estella, and it's like, damn, that's good. And even Emma Thompson as just like the pretentious, snobby, looks down her nose, I am the best at everything, just total bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, you are so good at playing this.
Ben, I'll give you a Golden Globe, but I won't give you an Oscar.
There's an easy way for the Baroness that Emma Thompson's written to be too silly, or too cartoonish, too caricaturized, and Emma Thompson elevates that script fantastically.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think that Ben, I will give you an Oscar win for costume design.
Oh,
we
talking about
said that while
earlier.
you were peeping.
Oh, darn. I love the costume. One of my favorites is she's got this like tie necklace that's like this gold. I love that.
Or even maybe makeup too, because I like when Estella becomes Cruella. Like one of my favorite looks is when she comes out of the van and it's like she has a mask on that says "the future."
That montage, that whole montage of like her just keep interrupting the Baroness's like parties. That's my favorite part of the whole movie. Like she has like a rock concert.
Yeah.
And she comes out and like Jasper's playing guitar, like not having a good time because he doesn't like what Corella's doing. But like that entire scene, like it's just like minute after minute of like the best costumes in film and it's like the best sound and like it looks so good. I'm like, this is I just want Disney to do this all the time. Just like let a director have a vision. And like this is awesome. Like I felt this guy's vision, director's vision throughout the entire movie.
Agreed. I love the interpretation that Cruella brought punk to London.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I can easily see some. Oh man, you know what would have been like hilarious? It's like some guy like the group that would eventually become known as the Sex Pistols. Like actors will look and was like, man, that's a really cool look.
Oh,
and then
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about something like, "Hey Chuck, it's your cousin."
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Marvin Berry.
Get a hold of
found
this.
that new sound you're looking for.
Yeah. And then it becomes, it's like this, like, yeah, we're the Sex. It's like they become the Sex Pistols because the most famous British punk band ever known.
Yeah,
that would be stupid as hell.
I think that interpretation helps sell like why it's set in the period that it is.
Yeah.
Cruella is essentially like representational of the punk scene taking over. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a really great way to reimagine it. And that is the key term, like the discourse on Twitter is like people going, it has been even before the movie came out, like, why do we need an origin movie for Cruella? The answer is no, we don't. But a reimagining I'm opening to, and this is a reimagining that doesn't have her hating Dalmatians, doesn't have her seeking to turn them into a coat. This is not that character. It changes it, it reinterprets it, and the reinterpretation is cool and it's fun.
When Maleficent came out, the second Maleficent, I came on the show and I said, I really like that Disney just kind of lets this weird Maleficent franchise exist. It has nothing to do with what they're doing with their animated reimaginings. And I'm glad that Cruella exists in that space because I think that's more of what I need.
So do you know what the director has said? And I think this is an awesome idea, although I do not want it to connect to the live action 101 Dalmatians. He said if he gets to make a sequel, he wants to make it like The Godfather Part 2, where it's a prequel and a sequel, and he wants Glenn Close to be telling the past story of how Cruella became who she is.
Oh wow!
So you get Glenn Close back, and then you go back to like 1980 or whatever, and like I'm not against it. I'm not against that either.
But for Glenn Close, I'm not against it.
That's what I mean. If you get her back, like I do not want that again. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
She's the producer of this movie.
Yes, I was hoping really badly Glenn Close was going to be one of the ladies that they tackle.
I thought so.
Heading into the party at the end, I'm like, this is the perfect Glenn Close cameo right here.
I was waiting for just like a face to pop out. Yeah,
she did Warcraft. She'll do it.
Yeah, I really really enjoy the interpretation and the execution of this. I think that's a cute idea, I guess, to connect to the 101 Dalmatians movie. I don't think it's possible, mostly because of Horace and Jasper.
Yeah,
I think that relationship doesn't go with the Glenn Close film, so that's not possible. But
are those? So I haven't seen that movie since I was like 5. Are those two henchmen characters in that movie too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know,
but they're bumbling idiots.
I like them so much in this movie.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they're really good.
That's actually one of my biggest positives of this movie is that you see Horace and Jasper, and you're thinking, and from you remember the anime film or even the Glenn Close live action films, you see these guys as like, oh, these are like the bumbling fools who can never get anything right. They're complete as she says, as Cruella, Emma Stone, and probably in the other films calls them imbeciles.
That's good casting for these guys. Okay.
Not so much this one. They're competent. Even Horace, who's like a little funny, like he constantly looks at it's like, what's the angle? What's the angle?
What's the angle?
They actually care about each other. They actually, I mean, when Jasper pipes up is like, hey, you can't talk to us like that. We're supposed to be friends here. You can't. We've been doing this game for years, and now all of a sudden you're being like, no, you can't do that. I love because normally with minions, they're like, yes, master, yes, ma'am, of course, of course. Oh no, I'm such a fool. It's like, no, back up. You can't speak to me like that.
Sorry, go ahead, Sparks.
The movie works because of Estella/Cruella's relationship with Horace and Jasper.
Mm-hmm.
That is what makes her a connectable character. It's what allows you to like her even when she does bad things, because they like her and find value in her. And of course, Emma Thompson's character is like ridiculously evil. So by comparison, Cruella doesn't seem so bad. And she's not really a bad person. She's more mischievous. Like, yeah, she's a criminal, but like, she's not vindictive or malicious.
Until the end.
Yeah, but even then, that's like, targeted towards her mother.
Yeah,
there are 3 montages in the movie, which normally I would kind of think would be too many, but I actually really like them all. There's the one in the beginning where we see her at school, and then there's the one where they're all stealing stuff and getting to know each other. I like that one a lot. I think that was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And then there's the one where she's sabotaging the Baroness's events.
There's actually a 4th montage, which is the setting up the scheme for the gala where they're delivering.
Oh yeah, and like
outfits.
in the middle of this movie, there's a heist movie.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed. I thought that was fun. The big rat, the dog that's dressed up as a rat.
Oh my god, guys! Wink, the Chihuahua with an eye patch might be my favorite thing I've ever seen in a movie. The first time I saw that, I was like, "Does that dog have an eye patch? No way, dude!" And then he turns into a little rat, and I'm like, "Ah!" So cute.
Normally, I don't like whenever I see Chihuahuas. I'm like, this is the one exception because this Chihuahua was adorable, even with a little eye patch. And the fact that Horace is just like, I just love the not the reaction, frack. I don't want to call it chemistry, but they just work so well together.
Well, it does help that the dog is CGI.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of CGI dogs in this movie.
Okay, so too many neo drops, but also some of the CGI dogs. There are times where myself and my roommate were watching this movie. He's like, "Hey, that dog's not real. Oh, that dog's not real. Hey, look, fake dog. Is that real?
The Dalmatians.
Boy, I'm really glad I didn't watch the movie with you. Jesus.
Right? Seriously, that'd be horrible. But Ben, real quickly, all the dogs are fake in this movie. They did not use a real dog in this movie.
Not even once?
I don't believe so.
They have to, because some of those shots are definitely real, my God.
Buddy's definitely real.
Buddy's definitely real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely times when Wink is also real, because you can tell when that eye patch is not real and when it is real.
Well, I will look it up later. It doesn't matter. But either way, Sparks is right. Watching a movie with you would be horrible.
I just, like, my whole thing is, like, I get why they use CGI for the dogs. Like, I don't want to be taken out of the movie, not just to think about it. Like, I'm like, cool, I get it. I know why they're doing it, and I just roll with it.
Yeah. And I mean, it looks fine most of the time. Like,
most of the time, yeah. I mean, like, I totally understand why, especially with the Dalmatians. I totally understand why the Dalmatians are CGI.
Yeah. They're killing fools.
Yeah.
There is a mix, Ryan. You were right.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that the way that they handled the idea of the press talking about, oh, she skinned the Dalmatians that she took from the Baroness, and when she talks to Artie, I love Artie. When she talks to Artie and she's like, oh, let them have a villain to hate, and I'm like, this is a good way to do the, like, yeah, we're gonna nod to the movie, but we don't need to do the plot of the original anime one. Love it.
Artie is.
No, I was gonna say, Artie, like they made a big deal on the internet because everyone likes to, but like, this is just how you do. He's just a character in a movie. Like, they don't make a big deal out of it. He's a dude who works at a fashion store. He's eccentric. Like, cool. Like, you don't need to make a big deal out of it. I loved it. Like, that's how you do representation. He's just a person who lives.
I love his makeup. It reminded me a lot of David Bowie.
Sure.
I was talking to a friend of mine who really wanted this movie to fail because she thinks glorifying a dog murderer is a bad thing. My argument has always been, you know what? If you can accept that Superman was a Nazi and a communist at one point, you can accept that Cruella might not be a dog murderer in one movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing is, like, most people aren't seeing this movie or are going into this movie expecting. And admittedly, I was like, I assumed before I saw the movie that we were going to eventually have her be that person. Yeah, and I was like, I'm okay with going down that path if it's a good film. Like, I don't want to see her do it. But like, if she becomes that person, I'm cool with watching the journey.
Yeah.
But that's not even what this is. And I will admit, like, I had the anxieties that a lot of people who don't watch this movie have when they watch the Twitter scene of her mom being killed by the Dalmatians, where I'm like, I hope that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I hope we're not about to do that. She's just anti-Dalmatian.
Yeah, that's
even before she realizes what actually happened, she still doesn't blame the Dalmatians.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks it's her fault.
Yeah.
What I love, I mean, jumping to the end of the movie, I love how she kind of trains the Dalmatians in a way. So like, okay, so she calls them, and then the Baroness comes. She's like sick the dogs on her, and then she just says sit, and all three of them just go okay.
That's a good moment. Yeah.
And also, I like the scene where Horace and Jasper, they're trying to get the Dalmatians under control because obviously they are not well trained dogs. But then he turns on the Tottenham game.
Hold on, they are well trained dogs. They are trained to kill people on command.
They're assassins. They're assassin dogs.
Training.
All right, I rephrase. They are murderous dogs, but the second a football game is on, they're like, "Oh, sweet football."
Yeah,
I just like that. I like that joke, and then how Horace is sitting with all three Dalmatians, and they're like, "Goal!"
Yeah, I like seeing their home.
Someone I was worried about, but then worked out in the end was Mark Strong, because Mark Strong is a very capable, talented actor, and for the first half of this movie, he's just like a henchman guy, and I'm like, they're wasting Mark Strong. But thankfully, he's like becomes friends with Estella, and he ends up being like her partner. I'm like, thank God he's used in this movie.
I was definitely waiting for that shoe to drop ever since we saw him talking to her mom in the beginning of the film outside, and I'm like, okay, so like, what's up?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I really
great reveal too. By the way,
I think the reveal that Estella is the Baroness's daughter is great.
Did not see that coming. My assumption was that that Estella's mom was the Baroness's sister.
Oh yeah,
that had been my assumption up to that moment, and I was like, that's probably what it is. So Estella would have been her niece. I did not anticipate. No, she's your mom, and I'm like, whoo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It explains a lot.
I really enjoyed this movie. I think this is a lot of fun. I don't know if I have too much more to say though.
Emma Stone does an excellent job of separating the identities of Estella and Cruella. The differences are subtle but present, which I like a lot.
Yeah, there's like, it's like more than halfway through the movie, but like her partners are like kind of like arguing with her, and like, you know, you're too much Cruella, and Estella's like, no, I'm not, I'm still a me, but like she's like working against that persona that she's becoming. And I'm like, this is like this, like, I hate comparing it to the Joker, but like this is like what I wanted that movie to be. Like, oh man, like this. I'm shocked. I'm shocked how much I like this movie, considering again it's a Cruella origin movie that, like, for a character I have no cares about. Like, it's just well made.
I really love that Emma Stone is having a good time playing the role. That's a lot of what helps sell, especially a villain type performance. She is eating it up every moment she gets to be Cruella, every moment she's in the makeup doing everything as Cruella, and that goes a long way. Mag asked about Anita and Roger. I really like Anita and Roger. I think their appearances are perfectly well used for the story that it's telling. It's cute to have them, but I didn't think it was overdone. They do change Anita's history with Cruella to be like that they knew each other in grade school rather than met in college, but that makes sense for the story they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
are Anita and Roger, are they the main characters from 101 Dalmatians?
Yes.
Do they get married?
Yeah,
yes.
They get married.
Aww, that's cute.
Because I also like the little post-credit scene at the end of the movie where Anita and Roger both get Pongo and Perdita, which are the Dalmatian parents of said 101 Dalmatians.
Yes.
But I was kicking myself because obviously when we meet Anita, it's like, oh, Anita Darling, she's from 101 Dalmatians. And I completely forgot about Roger.
You didn't catch Roger at all.
I did. I completely forgot about him up until the very end. And then it's like, oh God! I was like, I am a fool. I am Boo Boo the fool. I forgot.
I will cop to that as well. I didn't catch it until he was fired. And Cruella says Roger would later blame me for him being fired, but it's really just because he's Roger. That's when I was like, oh right.
No, it wasn't until he got Pongo and he's playing the song and he's saying Cruella, and he's writing the Cruella de Vil song. I'm like,
but that's a really good point. That's a really good point. Sorry, Ben, real quickly. That's a really good point. To what Sparks was saying, like they are not overused. They don't feel like a hindrance to the film. They feel like a natural inclusion about the films because Roger's not really the main character. He's in two scenes.
Yeah, because the main characters are Cruella, Horace, and Jasper.
But normally, if you're doing something like this, you would have a more prequel element of them being larger characters. We saw this in all three Hobbit films, and Legolas is a main character. Like your interest to want to do that because that's the thing but the restraint that they use, I thought was a good call, and I appreciated it.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, before I wanted to make my or say something earlier. When they remixed the Cruella de Vil song in the end credits, like we hear the classic Cruella de Vil, that song.
You don't have to sing it.
Yeah, but when they remix it, it's like the same tone, but they remix it and they change their lyrics up. I'm like,
that was fire.
This is a really good fit for this movie.
That's a good song, my guy.
Yeah, I was watching the movie with subtitles on. I'm reading the lyrics. I'm like, damn, this is some good shit.
It's a good cover remake, like whatever it is. Yeah.
Sure.
So the director's talking about like, okay, if this is good, he'll make a Cruella sequel. But this also just makes me like, what if they just like made a 101 Dalmatians movie, but like it's like it's a sequel to this, and it's just like 10 years in the future. But like I like Glenn Close, but I really want Emma Stone to do this again. I like watching this character do this thing.
I want Emma Stone to do this again too. I think my biggest thing is that like I don't feel like there's enough present to tell me that she would give Roger and Anita the dogs and then come and take their puppies.
So we need the sequel first before we get to 101.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think I want that movie. Like, I don't think I want the movie where from this version of Cruella. I don't want the movie where she becomes a person willing to skin the puppies.
I don't think this version of Cruella would.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that they would. Sorry, Ben, that they would make the movie then. Like if it's not gonna lead to that.
So,
but like Maleficent. Go ahead.
I'm perfectly fine with this being a one and done.
Yeah.
I love Emma Stone. I love Emma Thompson. I love everyone in this movie. I am totally content with just this being that story, and they don't go forward. Because as much as I love the Pirates of the Caribbean, most of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, they saw something, they struck gold, and they just kept milking it until there's nothing left.
But you got two great sequels. So
yeah, we did get some good movies, but they just kept going for it. And then it just became Pirates 5. And we all know how that turned out.
But I'm not worried about that because we haven't gotten to Cruella 5 yet. I'm just talking about the next one.
But this could be the start of a slippery slope. And I'm not saying now if Disney does come up and say, hey, we are making a Cruella sequel, Emma Stone is going to be back, it's going to be original, or it's going to be something like that, it's going to be set in the world of the first Cruella film, I'm probably going to be excited.
I could see
Disney has a record of seeing something that's really good, and they just say, cool, let's just keep going to that well. And the next thing you know, the well dries up, and the stuff that we get down the line isn't good.
Final Fantasy 16, I get it.
So the thing is,
the record of that is Pirates, and pretty much Pirates alone.
That's
what you're saying.
The thing is, Maleficent had a sequel. Now, I don't necessarily think the Maleficent sequel is that good, especially compared to the first one. I do think there is room to just do another Cruella, and you don't need to do 101 Dalmatians, or you reinvent 101 Dalmatians for the Cruella franchise, like Sleeping Beauty was reinvented for the first Maleficent movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean, or that's what I want. Because I want to see 100 Dalmatians on screen.
I mean, because that's like what Ryan was saying earlier is what the director suggested is doing an in-between where Glenn Close is talking about how she became Glenn Close in the 101 Dalmatians movie, which means it would be like an in-betweener that shows how Cruella goes so crazy that she'd want to kill the puppies. I again am like, I like from this version, I don't necessarily need the version of Cruella who wants to go that far. That's like, you get this team back together, you get Emma Stone playing Cruella, I'll probably watch it. That's not the thing. I'm very pleased with the fact that this movie sidestepped and subverted and went away from that aspect of the character to create this film. And I think this film was really good as what it is. So I don't need Emma Stone's Cruella hunting down 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, I get that.
But I'll probably give it the opportunity if the team came back to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just really glad that this
Yeah.
sings really well.
I agree.
Part of me, I mean, if they do a sequel, put it in the 80s, because I would love to see Cruella tackle 80s fashion.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be just Cruella's style. Funny enough, this movie made me give a shit about fashion. Like, I'm like seeing all the dresses, all the crazy costumes, and I'm like,
Phantom Thread?
That looks awesome. What?
Phantom Thread?
That's a movie he hasn't seen.
I haven't seen Phantom Thread.
It's also terrible. Don't watch it.
Ben, it's a thing that any movie, if it's done right, will make you care about its subject material. I don't care about sports, but if you put a good sports movie in front of me, I'm going to care about what's happening.
I don't care about hockey.
Same, exactly. Unless alien ducks are involved, I'm not going to watch it, right? Like, any subject can be good if it's done right. Like, I don't care about fashion either, but I absolutely cared about when Estella was getting shit on by her mom. Like, that was awful. Like,
now, is this the 70s or is this the 60s?
It's the 70s because she's born in the 60s, and then it's 10 years later.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely technology of the 70s.
It's 74 because it's 64 is when she's good. I love it. Yeah. Fashion's awesome.
I definitely agree with Ben. I think we should be skipping decades like X-Men.
I also I'll be honest, like, I think this movie is definitely held a lot by Emma Stone's performance. I think she does an incredible job. Mm-hmm. However, I do think part of what made this film like really just hit is her chemistry working against Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
And Emma Thompson would likely not be part of a follow-up.
She's a zombie.
And so, well, she's not dead, she's in prison.
Right.
But she would likely not be part of the follow-up film. And I don't, I think that part of what made this work was that back and forth chemistry working so well. And I just it's not impossible to do it again. It's just like, I really liked what this had. This just hit on every level.
They pull a Fast and the Furious, and then she has to work with her mother in prison to make the ultimate gown for like European extreme Mortal Kombat fashion tournament.
Mortal Kombat fashion tournament.
So Brandon, you mentioned the heist earlier that you liked there was a heist. I also liked how there was a heist stealing the necklace. But one of the other things I love is I just love how the signature piece that had the beads on it, but they all turned out to be moth cocoons.
Oh, it's so good.
Man.
And they open the vault and it's just a bunch of moths fly out. I'm like, oh, that is, because moths eat fabric. I was like, that is genius. That is such a good, screw you to the Baroness. I just
not only was that a great plot moment, that was a great way for Estella to reveal who she was.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
The long way. It's the long con too.
The long con, yeah.
She knew when those things would hatch.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot. I'm really happy it exists.
It's one of those situations where, like, the trailers were good, but I had low expectations. Like, just because I don't care about 101 Dalmatians, I definitely don't care about the villain of that movie. This made me care about that franchise in a way where, like, okay, I do agree with you, Sparks. Like, I don't want to see this character turn into a puppy killer, but that's who that character is, right? So it's hard for me to get away from that, but also I don't care about the character.
Well, sure.
Well,
I think my point being, like, I think the version that they created in here, it's harder for me to now believe that she would be the puppy killer.
Yeah.
Now you could do a story that told me that, but again, like, considering the backlash that was already happening about this movie, where people were like, I don't really want to watch a movie where they're making the protagonist the person who wants to kill a bunch of puppies.
Yeah.
The fact that I think that they worked around that really well, and I don't know how good of an idea it is to do a sequel where you now backtrack away from that and she will kill the puppies.
No, I agree. It's just a weird situation where, like, the established character is that way,
right? But it's the same. It's no different than like an Elseworlds.
It's the same as Maleficent. Maleficent is like, everyone thought that Maleficent was a bad guy, but here's the real story. And this is kind of the same thing with Cruella. Like, everybody thought she was a puppy killer, but here's the real story.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah,
because in fact the narrative of the press was that she killed the Baroness's dogs.
Yep, that's true.
So to the public, she probably is a puppy killer, but to herself wouldn't be.
That's true.
Yeah, so that you can sidestep that way too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Two parts I want to talk about for a very hot second that I really enjoyed this movie. The first one was the monologue after it's revealed to her that she is the Baroness's real daughter. The monologue in front of the fountain, which I thought was amazing because we got both Cruella and Estella. especially when she's like, "I'm no longer Stella, I'm Cruella, and I still love you."
I am the Joker.
I love how she goes to the fountain to have tea with her mom throughout the movie. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Second part, really quick. I just love when she goes back to Artie's store, and then she's like, "For trouble, mayhem, and death." He's like, "I'm not so sure about the death. Not yours." Oh yeah, I'm in totally. I just thought that was funny. I really enjoyed it.
Artie was a fun character. I honestly wish he was in the movie more.
Low key MVP is Artie.
I more than anything, I'm just happy to walk away from this movie being like, really enjoyed this. Really thought that this was one of those ones that went out of the park. I think this holds up with like Maleficent being really well done, Cinderella being a really good reimagining. This sings in that same vein for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we rate?
People forget Jungle Book. I think Jungle Book's really good.
Oh yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think
you're
right about Jungle Book. I was thinking about the ones that changed the original, like
Gotcha.
reinterpreted it in a different direction.
Gotcha. Okay.
Shall I rate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sparks, why don't you go first?
I will give this a solid 8 out of 10.
Ooh, I heard the 7 coming, and then you went 8.
And then I had to think about it, and I'm like, no, this is definitely an 8 in my book.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan.
I will give it an 8.5. Very, very great, stylish, fun movie. Made me care about a character I don't really care about. So I'm gonna play Kingdom Hearts now.
Real quick, like the other thing about it, I've seen a lot of people complain about the length. This is a 2-hour, 17-minute movie. I did not think that the length was an issue at all, personally.
No, it's paced very well.
Unlike Army of the Dead, where I felt the length of this one, I was like, "Oh, we're almost done."
Yeah.
We got to a point. I was like, "Wait, are we like at the end game? Are we like in the third act?" And then it kept going. I'm like, "Oh, cool, we're not there yet. Yay!"
Yep.
Ben?
So my 9.
Wow.
Like Brian said, Cruella de Vil is one of those Disney villains that I kind of put on the blue. I mean, yes, Disney villain. She holds that status, but she's more on like not in the same league as Maleficent, not in the same league as Evil Queen or the other more iconic villains. She's just there. She's not just there, but she's like lower tier. This movie, jumped her up. I'm like, I care. I love it. It's definitely due to Emma Stone's performance, and I mean, apart from like way too many needle drops. I had a blast with this movie. This is definitely my favorite live action of the Disney films or reimaginings thus far.
Ooh.
Still Cinderella for me.
Cinderella's good. Don't get me wrong. It's just this one I had a blast with.
I am torn. I want to say my actual rating, but really, I just want to say 9.5 to keep it going.
Hell yeah. Yo, man. So, like, Twitter is very
I'm
funny.
going to change mine to a 9. Throw it all off. 9 out of 10, baby.
Everywhere besides Twitter, people love this movie. So, like, if you want to give it a 9.5, baby, this movie, I think, deserves it. Like, of all the live-action things that Disney's made, this one is the most, like, oh, this is a movie.
I agree. I didn't feel the length. I do like Cruella as a villain. I do like 101 Dalmatians. And
I think in look and performance alone, this film is exceptional.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My actual rating, though, was not a 9.5. It's an 8. I give it a solid 8.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Shall we get into our book club?
Let's book it. Book.
Did it work?
Shit.
Did it work?
Yes. We did Alien 3, the unproduced screenplay, or initially called William Gibson's Alien 3. This is a comic book adaptation of the very first screenplay written for what would become Alien 3. The screenplay was originally written by William Gibson. This was adapted and drawn by Johnny Christmas with colors by Tamara Bonvillain.
Heck yeah.
So what do we think about this one?
Yo, this totally should have been Alien 3, but...
Oh, I disagree.
I definitely don't 100% sit in that category because I kind of like a lot of aspects about Alien 3, specifically about Ellen Ripley's arc. Mm-hmm. However, I do wish that the politics around the alien was brought into the film that comes in this comic.
I love the art, and I like most of this book. I found a lot of it to be kind of boring, if I'm being honest. I think this is an extremely wordy comic, and I'm not someone who normally says that, but I found a lot of the super wordy parts to not be super fun to read.
I'm in the same camp as Ryan, actually. I like the art a lot. I'm into the story, and I agree. I do think I would like some of this politics stuff to have made it to later scripts. But the dialogue being so wordy was only a problem when I realized that you actually weren't telling me anything important.
Yep, lots of just words being said.
Yeah, and that became an issue for me. I'm like, okay, so I actually don't know what's happening.
There's a lot of the side characters I just don't care about at all.
I definitely had a hard time with a bunch of the characters. My favorite like writing stuff and dialogue stuff was stuff that was going on with the fact of like when you jump to the UPP and they are the separate part of the other side of the treaty, and they're talking about how they have a sample of the alien and the others have a sample of an alien, and they're like, oh, like they make it very clear and plainly say that like this is biological weaponry on the term of like advancing the next step of what would be nuclear war, and that's what we are looking at. That's what we're dealing with, and we're afraid of them having it, and it made everything about like the pretense of Wayland Yutani wanting to get the alien up to this point feel very present, and like, oh, many places are in a race to grab onto this thing that they are confident is the future of weapons,
a biological arms race.
And it was the first time that it was made clear that like there is not peace in space, because up to that point, like we've assumed that space seems like a utopian dystopia, but like everybody's on the same page. This made it clear, no, everyone is not on the same page. There are different factions, and those factions are competing for the arms race.
Yeah, I do really like there's something in this book that I wish had stuck around in the Alien franchise, which is that this is an ancient biological weapon.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah. Prometheus, I guess, kind of touches that, how like the aliens are like created, but like this feels like, oh yeah, this happened so long ago. And it's
but Prometheus says this happened like 40 years ago.
Oh, farts! I forgot it was that.
They state that like this thing is plainly designed to like enhance every kind of biological thing into a weapon. I love the interpretation of Wells when she gets infected, and Tully, that they transform in a way we've never seen into this alien thing that has kind of like a human skull at the front with red eyes, and I'm like.
It's kind of hard to see, but like this was my fate. This is when the book kicked in for me. Unfortunately, it was like issue 4. But like when the company girl's like, the company is going to bury you so deep, and turns into an alien. That blew my mind. I want to see more of that.
That's the other hard part of this, is that this is an adapted script. This is not just like a comic written to be a comic. So your second and third act, like big stuff, is still your second and third act big stuff. So it comes later. It takes longer to get to than reading those early issues. Like this reads like a movie because it is. And that's hard because like that's not how comics are.
Yeah. That's the problem that the Star Wars ran into by Dark Horse.
True.
Well, one of the problems.
I like Bishop a lot in this.
Yeah, I did too. I wanted to say I like the idea that they created this horrible hybrid thing because they were trying to create this biological weapon from scratch without having any DNA, without having any like face huggers available. It was kind of like this kind of feels like something that Alien 4 would kind of dive more into with the cloning and everything. There is the thing where I kind of wish there was more information about what they did to create those hybrids in this book, because one of the things I really like is that the xenomorph sees that thing as an abomination and tries to kill it.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to see more of that.
It's not a pure bead like the xenomorph is.
I like the idea that the xenomorph sensed it immediately as an abomination.
I would love to have seen that in a movie, honestly.
Me
like
too.
This different interpretation of the transformation, and then encountering the like that. That would be like a cool 10-minute sequence of like what's going on and the tension as the humans are trying to escape. Man, also the part where the dude bleeds into his suit as he's transforming.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again, like the art, I have no problems with the art. I think this is an exceptional looking book, especially like the grotesque stuff. I just wish, I wish like the unproduced screenplay got produced a little bit.
Yeah, I wish more of this made it into the final draft. I do like what we have in the final draft. I just kind of wish that some of this was more spared.
Honestly, I think they'd have to be different films.
Yeah, true.
Like it'd have to. This is more. I wish some of this came to Resurrection.
It feels like for there, yeah.
This is the script because initially written because Sigourney Weaver didn't want to come back. They do kind of have the character of Ripley in the book, but you can definitely tell how they were like, it could be someone other than Sigourney Weaver.
She's just like sleepy the whole time.
And then they launch her into a pod because like maybe sequel. I kind of like that Nuke gets a happy ending. She gets to go to Earth.
I really like Newt as she's written in this. I like Newt and Hicks. Newt has an exceptionally good moment with Spence, where she says, "Why don't you like her? Because she's got eyes like cufflinks." And Newt like laughs, and then she's like, "Hey, what are cufflinks?"
Ben, what do you think about this
You've been quiet for a bit.
He's been muted.
You're muted still.
Ben, you're muted.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. Also, you guys have been going to town. So I actually had a great time with this book.
Sure.
I didn't think it was boring. I mean, there were parts that they were regurgitating a lot of the same information. But the one thing about, like, obviously my biggest gripe with Alien 3 is that they just kill Hicks and Newt for no good goddamn reason. And this one, Newt lives. And I'm like, good. I was actually okay with Ripley not being a major plot point of the book. And I also really liked the politics, because like Sparks said, while we're watching the films, everything's kind of like utopian dystopia, essentially. Weyland-Yutani controls everything. And we see a other faction of space, like when they cross the border for a hot second, it's like, oh, so there are other factions, there are other, like, quote, air quote, countries in space trying to fight for them. And they're trying to, I really dig that, especially how the UPP screws up their own alien thing, and they're like, yo, this is bad. And of course, Weyland-Yutani is like, oh, no, we're going to try and keep doing this thing.
You down with UPP? Yeah, you know me. That's a rap song.
You muted me. You muted me.
What happened? I didn't touch anything.
No, Ben has the controls, and he muted me.
No, I didn't.
What happened? My mic was muted.
Wasn't me.
So, like, I agree, like, with Ben, like, that whole concept of the UPP. I love, like, jumping between the two stations. Again, as I was reading this, I was trying to picture the movie it would be, and I'm like, this would be a pretty cool film. Like, jumping between the two stations, and they're both doing, like, the different experimentations. And the thing is that, like, the American one, like, where Weyland is, they shut down the experiment. However, there's still the xenomorph that got in already, and they had the, like, different spores that create Wells and Tully. Tully going to the dock and freezing himself mid-transformation is one of the craziest, creepiest things in any alien imagery I've seen. And I love it.
Heartbreaking, and I love it. But also, I love the design of the alien-human hybrids. Because I just like seeing the skull, like part of the skull of the alien head and those red eyes. I was like, man, that is cool.
Oh,
it's like, what if a xenomorph but a Terminator inside?
Yeah.
I do really enjoy that the UPP sent a message basically just being like, we screwed up.
I don't know if these were the covers of the comic. These are like the best covers for any alien comic. They're super simple. There's like one image.
The one where Wells' face is peeling off.
The
cover piece. Yeah, it's really good.
One thing I do really wish that Alien 3 definitely kept was that the alien egg was inside Bishop. So, like, the spores inside Bishop from the alien queen, like, created a new egg. I do wish that had stayed on board.
So much more sense than what they did. Yeah, I agree. I will say, like, the one biggest gripe I had is that I wish Wells was a more explored character as a representative of the company. I just wish that there was a little more bite to who they are, because I think everything else is being explored so well, and I'm like, dig into the company stuff, get that going a little better. But I do love the way that the girl from UPP has to fly over, and she kind of ends up saving the day.
Yeah.
While she's dying of radiation sickness. I also love the message that would be at the end with Bishop talking to Hicks and saying, like, you know, you now have it made clear, like, this is no longer separate groups at war. Your war is with the xenomorphs.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, there's things I like in it. I just wish that if it wasn't so wordy, and especially wordy without telling me anything interesting, without telling me anything new, I would have liked this more.
I also wish that the biome was used more. I like that it's used, but I wish that the biome with all the living species in it that get affected by the xenomorph pathogen was used more.
Yeah, I always love, like, when franchises aren't afraid to just, like, explore more and get a little weirder. That's why, like, even though Alien Resurrection's super gonzo, I really appreciate that movie for just trying to be weird. I would love to see more, you know, Weyland-Yutani has developed human alien monsters that can transform. Like that is so cool, and the fact we haven't seen that anywhere else, I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, man.
They didn't develop it. That was an accident.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Yeah.
Because Tully and Wells are both accidentally exposed to an egg spore that just shoots stuff up into their noses.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is the result of that. Is them like just transforming into this weird thing. Spur of the moment.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
crazy.
This was going to happen in Prometheus when that one guy who gets the egg in him, he was going to turn into a xenomorph hybrid, but then Ridley was like, no,
a zombie,
a goo monster. Yeah.
I'm really happy we got to read this one.
Yes, I love the art.
I think more than anything, it's a bummer to know that like these ideas from William Gibson, who by the way wrote Neuromancer, which was an inspiration for Blade Runner.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
It's a bummer to know that like stuff that was discussing these ideas of like that would have made like the company's absolute passion in spite of people dying regularly on missions to get the xenomorph at least makes sense in the fact that there's an arms race going on that they have put the xenomorph at the center of.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bummer that was clearly on the table at some point and they just didn't ever bring that to the forefront of any of the films, because like it justifies so much of the actions of what the company is doing, not to an extent where like you're like, oh yeah, I get it now, I like the company's good. It's not that, but like at least I understand why they keep constantly embracing this terrible idea.
If you were I talked about it very briefly when we did our Alien retrospective. Alien 3 went through so much production hell, and like the original script was obviously like it's closer to this, like Ripley's gone and it's about Hicks and stuff, but like
this is the original script.
Sorry, that's what I mean. Yeah, but it was going to turn into like the big war, and like the script changed like in production before Alien 3 is what I mean. And like there was going to be a big war on Earth and like all of this big galactic space stuff, and like it just kept getting trimmed until it's just this and the Alien 3 that we got.
Well, because this is also when we did our Alien film discussion, like, you know, we have so little perspective of what that future is. Like, we don't really know. It seems like a utopia, but it also seems very dystopian in its way.
Yeah.
But it does feel like there are no conflicting forces. There is just the company. The company runs everything. And we now know that that's not the case, at least in this version.
Yeah.
And I wish so much more of this was in the forefront of context for a lot of the Alien franchise, because like, I want that like pushback to make it so that some amount of this makes sense, because like otherwise like their desire to like weaponize the alien has never made sense in the films, like ultimately to the amount of lives that they lose and resources they lose in trying to do it, because what are they fighting? We never know. What are they so afraid that they need to weaponize it against? It's never made clear. But here we have something like there is a loose treaty that is barely being held together, and they are afraid.
In the future, all the predator tribes band together to try to take over the universe, and the humans have to use the aliens to fight the predators.
Oh my god! Before we leave, remind me what I bought. Remind me, I bought something and I want to show it to you guys.
You got
I won't show these people.
Sorry, listeners.
I agree that I think that there should be more. One of the things I do really like in Aliens, the graphic novel we read a couple months ago, might have been a year ago by now. The very first Alien comic that Dark Horse put out. One of the things that I really enjoy is that the reason why this keeps happening is because of the alien queens. Like they're partially telepathic. So I think the reason why I kind of get in there is a roundabout way of telling me like we had so many cool ideas. So many people had so many cool ideas that were just never explored into the movies, but they all ended up in comics eventually.
They always in the films it always just turns into the company needs them because it's the company. Yeah. The end.
All right.
The end.
I'm good to call it there. Are you guys?
I was happy to explore this. There's a lot of cool ideas here that, you know, maybe one day they will circle back around into who knows what will be Alien canon of the future. I certainly liked reading this more than I did like reading the Marvel Alien comic that's out right now. So
I'm glad I got this. Yeah.
I'm glad I picked this. My other choice was going to be Ash versus Marvel Zombies.
See you, Mag. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mag. You're the best.
Mag, good night. Good day.
Get to enjoy your day. Look at that. Amazing.
Good day, sir. Mag says, oops, what happened there? There we go.
Goodbye.
I was trying to put it up.
Well, have a good time, everybody. Stay safe and see you later. Enjoy your day. I just looked outside and the sun is still out.
Mag is definitely a true MVP.
Yeah. Before we get started, Mag, if you're still there, I hope you guys listened this far. I forgot to mention this up top. we're going to be starting in-person recordings soon.
Ooh!
So these live shows will not be going away. We've discussed it. But they will be changing in some format. So stay tuned for that.
We'll go from 4 screens to 1 screen with 4 of us on it.
I know we also discussed maybe not doing the news live, but we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. We are discussing this right now, but yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up, guys.
Heck yeah. Get that vaccine, baby.
And our anniversary is coming up soon, and that will be our first time together recording the podcast in a very long time.
Feels like the first time.
Yeah. It feels like the first time.
See, you get it.
Mm-hmm. Sparks, it is your book club next week.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
All right. We'll let you know later. Next week, however, we are going to be talking about The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
He made me do it.
This is the 3rd entry in the mainline Conjuring series, the 6th overall? No. 7th overall.
Depends on if you count La Llorona or not.
I do not. And we will be putting up sometime this week. We're going to discuss when a Quiet Place Part 2 review special. We did not forget about it. We've already done it a year ago, and we're going to do it again.
Re-upload.
Spoiler alert, it's real quiet.
Sound cannons.
So not as quiet as the last one.
Interesting.
So this is not as Quiet Place Part 2. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. But that will be up before Sunday, most likely, and then The Conjuring Part 2 will be a review special. The episode. The week after that, we will do Sweet Tooth. I know it is coming out this week, but we're going to push it to the week after, and we're going to discuss the comic and the series at the same time.
Whoop, whoop.
So stay tuned for all that, guys. Can't wait. A lot of cool stuff.
Hell yeah.
We also have many other shows. Check out our new audio show, Conversation. I believe there's no book club out this week. I hope not. There wasn't. Check out our audio show, Conversation, where I just put up a new episode, which is part 2 with Sparks Witty, my good buddy down there below.
Hey, yeah, we had a whole conversation. It was a thing.
Do you want to talk a bit about what we talked about there?
I did re-listen to it because I was curious, and I stand by everything I said.
Cool. I re-listened to it before I put it out because obviously I have to make sure there's edit points and things like that, and I surprised how candid I got in many places.
Yeah, I think you and I had a really solid way through it, and I think we made some really nice points together.
Yeah. I hope people like it, and I hope people find it inspirational as well. If you're feeling similar to me as far as fandom goes. This coming week will be Robert L. Kelly from the Record All Monsters podcast. Which is a cool name for a podcast. Check out the other shows up on our YouTube channel. Guys, we're only 2 weeks away from Loki. Loki is coming back. This is the Avengers Loki, not the Endgame Loki or the Infinity War Loki.
Loki, I'm high-key excited about this.
Oh, dang.
You did there.
I was watching Community, and there's the episode where Jack Black's in Community, and Owen Wilson's in that same episode. And I was like, man, I'm about to see you in a Marvel thing.
Wow. It's me. Wow.
He plays the leader of the cool group that Jack Black wants to be a part of. All right. You can check out our other shows. Well, the reason why I brought up Loki is because we're going to be doing Fake Nerds Watch again for Loki. So Fake Nerds Watch is going to be coming off hiatus, but you can check out our other Marvel shows such as WandaVision or Falcon Winter Soldier and plenty of other shows. We have so many shows on there. If you're going through any of them, check out our Fake Nerds Watch. We have a Basement Arcade series, which is recording things.
Sometimes.
Coming back someday.
We'll let you know.
And we have Basement Arcade Pause Menu.
Yes, that we do. I don't know when the next one's going to get recorded, but I'm working on it.
Okay. And we also have the Fake Nerd Book Club, which we'll probably do sometime this month, I assume.
We can make it happen.
Yeah. We'll do the new series, Gotham Academy, Volume 1.
The old series, Gotham Academy. There isn't
the new series for us.
Yeah. I was like, 2021 Gotham Academy.
Oh, a guy can dream. You can check out also our Fake Nerds Masks. Hey, guys, the mask mandates are coming up for vaccinated people, but, maybe you want to support us. We are probably only going to sell them for about a month, maybe 2 more. And then, you could get that same fabric in a different thing. So stay tuned for all that. We'll have more information later. And this is the final month where you can get our Patreon shirt. Of course, as you know, there are 3 tiers on our Patreon. There is the $5 tier where you get specials early once we start recording them on a regular basis, on a more regular basis, thanks to COVID being hopefully no more. And of course, there's other things on there that I don't remember. I was going to add something else. I totally forgot. I'll figure it out. Maybe I wrote it down. And our $10 tier, which has our t-shirt where you can join the exclusive fan club of being Stephen King's best friend.
Exclusive.
But not as best friend as Ben Magnet.
Number
That
2.
should have been the asterisk on that shirt.
On
Not as best friend as Ben Magnet. That's up now. This is the last month that you can get it, and then it'll be gone forever. And then a new shirt will take its place. We have the new shirt. I'm excited to put that one up there. I can't wait for all to see it.
Ooh, la, la, la.
And then, of course, if you guys like us, give us $20. You can check out our TeePublic. Oh, she's so cute.
It's my cat.
You can check out our TeePublic where we have tons of cool shirts up there. I spoke about it on Kaiju Weekly, but we have our I'd rather be a fake nerd than a true fan shirt. That's our most recent. We have Fake Nerd Book Club, Fake Nerd Podcast, Miscellaneous. Oh, yeah. And you can also check out our website at www.fakenerdpodcast.com where you can get all of these links, as well as everything is linked below. So check us all out. Cool. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches. Thank you to Mag for. By the way, I posted that Instagram post just for Mag.
Hell yeah, Mag. Thank you.
Sparks, you're still muted.
Didn't want Mag left in the lurch.
That's true. I also did it because I didn't want to. There's a design to the Instagram page that I'm trying to maintain, and I needed something. Anyway, thank you to everyone who watches the replay. We love you all. We love your support. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our musical interludes and our themes and everything. You're so talented. We love you. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards.
Hey, Sparks, Witty, what did Jeremy order from Super Taco the other day?
What?
They want to know what you ordered from Super Talk.
Because he texted me on accident asking what I wanted from Super Taco. And I'm like, no, I'm not there.
Hi,
Hey,
guys.
what's up? What's up?
Hi, Jeremy.
What'd you get from Super Taco?
Great question. It's actually Super Taqueria.
Super
got
Taqueria.
a beef quesadilla on a flour tortilla, not a corn tortilla, because corn tortillas are for Melvins. And if you get a corn tortilla, even if I like you, even if you've done a lot of charity, and overall good in the world, you too are a Melvin. Okay.
Sorry, Melvin.
Flour one.
Flour all the way, baby.
Yeah, that's the rules. Okay. Oh, also pico de gallo is the main ingredient in the quesadilla. Actually, if I want to be intense, where the fuck's the microphone? I have to get in here like this and tell
There
you
it
about
is.
the pico.
Boy, I don't like this.
Oh,
Pico was also a character
us end
from
the show, Jeremy.
from the famous website Newgrounds. He was sort of the unofficial mascot.
I remember
Right?
Pico.
Everybody remembers Pico. It was a school shooting simulator. It's pretty cool.
Do you remember Madness?
Yes, I remember Berserker. That was the first time I ever learned that you could use different capitalizations for letters in a single word. It was like capital B, lowercase e, capital R, and so on. It was pretty cool.
That's
So anyway, you guys have fun at your Super Taqueria and get the flour tortilla. That rhymed. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jeremy. Is that Trouble in the background? What the most beautiful big dog ever?
All right, that was
There you go.
fun.
That was a thing.
You can find his podcast, the guy who just rambled on for about 5 minutes, his podcast on iTunes and Facebook.com/SuburbanProctologistOfficial and Instagram at SubProcPodcast.
Yeah, subscribe to Subproc Podcast. Don't be a Melvin.
Don't be a Melvin. What the hell's a Melvin?
We're gonna find out
You
later,
gotta
I guess.
listen to find out.
Thank you to Mike Patola. Mike, I love Mike Patola. He's a
Made
cool
that.
guy. He does our logos and more, and so many cool stuff, such as our Patreon shirts, where you can join Ben's exclusive fan club and be Stephen King's best friend.
Oh, God damn it.
$10.
$10 here, Ben. You have a month left of this joke.
No. Okay.
Only a
Only
month.
1 month. You can
Good.
find him at Mike Matola on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. And Ben? Being Stephen King's best friend.
You can find me not being Stephen King's best friend and still posting a lot of pictures of my cat on my Instagram at BenMagnet27 on, like I said, Instagram and, of course, Twitter. And like we said 3 hours and 47 minutes ago, I write for OldSchoolGamerMagazine.com. My newest article about me falling into the eBay rabbit hole, getting awesome games such as New Super Mario Bros. And, of course, Chrono Trigger for the DS is in the link in the description below.
Sparks.
You can find me going and grabbing some Super Taqueria with that handsome man over there at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
Ryan.
Do you hear it?
A little bit.
Hell yeah. You can find me at DJ Tony Snark everywhere.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcast, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. Until next time you see us, stay fake nerds.
Flour, tortilla, flour, tortilla, pico, flour, tortilla, flour, tortilla.